Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, we got a lot of statements from President Trump today. He had a couple events today. He spoke to the press before getting on and off of Marine One. And really the only conclusion you can reach if you try to follow Trump's statements, well, I guess you could reach maybe one of two conclusions, but the only conclusions you can reach are he's just talking out of his ass and he just makes stuff up on the fly. And so you really can't take any of it seriously. Or I suppose you could argue that it's by design, that it's all by design. And he doesn't want anybody to know what the hell is going on. Or maybe he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Who knows what the hell is going on? We'll try to make sense of it all today from some of Trump's public statements. No, we're not going to get into, I guess, the conspiracy theory started by President Trump himself today, that he is apparently Elvis. Trump claiming to be Elvis, as he visits the once home of the American icon, Elvis, today. And he signed a guitar, because that's what we need to be doing right now, is taking trips to Graceland and selling guitars and telling people that you might be Elvis reincarnate, or I don't know. I don't know what the claim there is. It's totally out of control. It's just, it's the clown presidency. So get your clown horns out, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at some other statements that got made today at this cabinet, I guess you would say, hearing, where they laid out a bunch of evidence collected by the DEA, a bunch of guns and drugs and whatnot. It's all just slopaganda. It's all just political propaganda and slop. So we got a little bit of that today. And I suppose that connects to what's happened to Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino finds himself back in the news, not because he's done anything necessarily, but, you know, we were wondering what happened to Dan Bongino. We were watching his podcast rank go out of the top 100. Nobody even knows if he's on air or doing a show anymore. Then he gets confronted. And the only reason why any of this is relevant, by the way, it has nothing to do with Dan Bongino. The only reason why any of this is relevant is because it's a good measuring stick as to where MAGA is at, or this denial that there's some sort of a MAGA divide. It just totally destroys it, what Dan Bongino is going through now. So we find out, I guess Dan Bongino is back on his show today after he gets confronted this weekend. So we'll show you some of that just so you can see it. But again, that's not even the story. The story isn't that Dan Bongino got confronted. The story isn't that Dan Bongino is naming names of the people on his podcast today. The story is that it's total proof positive that MAGA is divided. It's total proof positive that whatever popularity, whatever trustworthiness that Dan Bongino had previously, it's pretty much gone. It's pretty much gone, and it's just another one of these echo chambers now, one of these silos of agreement and cult-like behavior. And outside of that, people don't really like it. So we're going to review that. It ties into some other stories today. We are going to hear from Netanyahu as well. And then, you know, Trump said something about the situation in Iran. Netanyahu says something completely different. And I think it shows you that there's different interests involved here. There's multiple interests involved here. And by the way, none of them are you. None of them are the American people. None of them are you. None of them benefit America. It's all about whatever benefits Israel, and it's all about what benefits Trump and his little band of insider traders and insider contracts. You know, the people that are running the White House, the swamp, the deep state, you know, those guys.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
All right, guys, you may have seen that gold is it's back down a little bit, you might say. That crazy run, it's cooled off a little bit. Gold was white hot. It's cooled off a little bit. I'm still bullish on gold, but the reason I tell you is, you know what? It might be a good time. Maybe it's time to make up your mind and diversify your wealth at protectwithowen.com. Our friends at Allegiance Gold. Let me tell you why I partnered with Allegiance Gold. First of all, they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A+. Now, in this time when you hear a bunch of bad stories about people out there in the precious metals market, that A+ with the Better Business Bureau, that's key. Nearly 10,000 clients nationwide, so it's not a small sample size, folks. I like that. I like people I can trust, and I like people that want me to have a full understanding of the decisions that I'm going to be making. That's why you can give them a free phone call. Any questions, any concerns, just give Allegiance Gold a call, 844-790-9191. Ask them what they think about precious metals, gold, silvers, the market, and ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to move into precious metals before that price goes up again. So simple. Go to protectwithowen.com or give them a call, 844-790-9191. You've been watching gold. You've been watching silver. You've been wondering, is it the time? Always a good time to give them that free phone call. And then you can make up your mind once you have all the confidence you need, the best understanding. That's what Allegiance is all about. 844-790-9191 or go to protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
Turn my system on.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys, starting off the week here. It's relatively quiet. But we do have some stuff out of the White House, out of the administration that I really want to highlight. And, you know, you can try to make sense of all these different things that Trump is saying, but it's really not even worth it because they don't make any sense. And they either don't make any sense because he's not even bothering to try anymore, or he just figures, I like to keep everybody guessing. I like to keep it nonsensical. That way nobody knows what I'm going to do. So it could be a strategic thing, or it could be he's just totally lost his mind thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of both. But you can clearly see when you look at the different developing headlines as far as the war in Iran is concerned, you can clearly see that you can't make any sense of it. You can't get anything consistent. You can't get anything consistent from any of the media, anybody in the White House, anybody in the administration, anybody in the GOP. You just have no idea. And it's frustrating because we shouldn't even be dealing with this. It's frustrating because this shouldn't even be on our radar. Here we are again in the quicksand of the Middle East. Don't even know what the hell's going on. It's costing us billions of dollars. They're going to take another $200 billion to try to fix the damage done. And now you can't even get airport security. You can't even get the SAVE Act passed for election integrity. Can't drain the swamp, can't get deep state arrests, can't even get a bill passed to keep men out of women's sports. It's a damn clown show. It's a damn clown show. And now it's every damn day. Instead of addressing the issues that America cares about, it's every damn day trying to figure out what the hell is going on in the Middle East, because that's where our attention is yet again with this administration. And they can't even deny anymore that it's an utter failure of the campaign promises, a complete reversal. They can't even deny it. So they just say, well, it's we're just going off track for a minute. We're just getting distracted for just a minute. It's been over a year. What does that mean? It's been over a year, and we can't get this train on the tracks. It's been over a year. Now you're just a couple hundred days from the midterms, and you're telling us, hey, we just need some patience. Hey, we're just taking a bit of a detour here in the Middle East again. Hey, we'll figure out the other stuff soon enough. No, you won't. No, you won't. It's pretty clear at this point you won't. And then you deal with these other MAGA cultists, and you're like, hey, we need you guys to pull this administration in the right direction. We need your guys' attention here. Things are going really bad. And they say, no, you misunderstood. This is a Trump cult now. So you either join the Trump cult. It's basically, there's two sides of it now. There's the Trump cult, and then there's the Israel lobby. These are the two things that currently fuel support for President Trump, the cultists and the foreign interests. And you could say the special interests too. And they tell you, oh no, you're not allowed to doubt President Trump. We didn't vote for any policies. We didn't vote for any issues. We voted for the man. And no matter what that man does, we support it. Wow. Wow. Well, that's not what we signed up for. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? It's very reminiscent, by the way. It sucks to have to remind you, but it is very reminiscent of the first time that Trump royally screwed this country over and left this country with permanent damage. And that would be 2020. That would be COVID. You could even say the stolen election. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that Trump in the first administration screwed this country over permanently. Trump's first administration raped this country permanently with the COVID-19 lockdowns and economic disaster, and then the stolen election, the election he allowed to be stolen. And that did permanent damage. That did permanent damage to our economy. That did permanent damage to our political system. And now we're looking at this deal in the Middle East, and we're wondering, okay, what is this going to do? What damage is Trump going to do to the country now with this war in the Middle East? Is it possible to pull out of this deal? Is it possible to get out of this deal with the minimal damage done, or is it too late? How long are we going to have to hear that it's your patriotic duty to pay more price for the cost of living? It's your patriotic duty to suffer as an American. How much more do we have to hear this? By the way, this is their new talking point. I'm going to play this compilation for you. This is their new talking point. But let's get this perfectly clear. This is what they're asking you. And it's so out of touch. It's so out of touch. It's so pathetic. It's such a betrayal. And it's not even subtle, by the way. It's not even subtle in its delivery. It is very overt. It is very overt what they're asking you, which is, you, the American, you need to suffer. Don't you understand? That is your patriotic duty, is to suffer. Your patriotic duty as an American is to suffer financially. You're not supposed to be thriving. You're not supposed to be prospering. You're not supposed to be free. You need to be in fear of your government. You need to be paying the most you've ever paid in your life just to get by. You need to be suffering financially. That's your patriotic duty. This is what they're telling you. Now, if you make plenty of money, then I guess the gas going up and the grocery bills going up, the energy bills going up, I guess that doesn't really bother you. So this is the political class asking half the country who will be affected by this, who will notice $10, $20 more when they fill their tank. They will notice that. They will notice $10, $20 more on an energy bill, on a grocery bill. These are things half of the country realizes and is impacted by. So I guess if you're in the political class, you don't really care. But you're in a very small minority. The vast majority of this country is suffering right now under this administration. And they're being told and they're being asked yet again, this is your patriotic duty. You're supposed to suffer. You say you voted for no new wars. Too bad. It's your patriotic duty, another war. You say you voted for massive tax cuts and energy cuts and America First policy. Too bad. It's your patriotic duty. You don't get that. And it almost feels like it's the final demand of this corrupt political system. It feels like it's the final demand of the state, the final demand of our corrupt, out of control, satanic government. You have to sacrifice yourself. You're not a sovereign citizen. You don't live in a sovereign country. You don't live in a free country. You're not even free yourself. And this is their final demand, is that you suffer for eternity. That you, the American alive today, whether you've been alive for 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years, you've all watched your country suffer. You've all watched the direction of your country go the wrong way. You've all watched the standard of living decline. And now they make their final demand to you. That's how it is. It's your patriotic duty to accept it. You will never get to run your government again. You will never get the government off your back. You will never get out of the Middle East. You will never stop serving and working for foreign and special interests. That's your duty now, American. And this is their demand. It feels like this is their final demand. And it's right out of the COVID era. It's your patriotic duty to wear a mask. You remember that? It's your patriotic duty to take that vaccine. It's your patriotic duty. Well, now, here's the ask. It's your patriotic duty to pay more. It's your patriotic duty to have gas prices go up, cost of living go up. That's your patriotic duty. Don't complain, American.
As far as the oil prices, people just need to stop panicking. It's worth it to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon. So if I have to pay a little bit more for gas, I'll do that.
You got to pay the price. I mean, in order to have long-term stability.
The disruptions in the global markets are real and may be painful. But the long-term benefits, again, are incalculable.
There may be some sacrifices to be made at the pump on a temporary basis. I'm willing to pay 30% or 30 cents more at the pump to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
To win in life, you got to suffer short-term pain for the long-term gain, or short-term pain for long-term gain.
Freedom is not free. Americans are going to have to make some sacrifices.
This is short-term, and I'm asking you to just trust the man, okay? Trust the system, let him cook.
As far as the oil prices, people just need to stop panicking. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's all worth it. You're just told this the rest of your life. Keep making sacrifices, America. Keep watching the decline of your country. Keep watching the decline of the value of the dollar. Keep watching your grocery bill climb, your energy bill climb, the price at the pump climb. Just keep watching it all happen. It's your patriotic duty. How dare you demand America actually get to thrive again? How dare you request that your government, that your president actually serve you and follow through on the things they promised during the campaign. How dare you? And everyone in that video telling you, you need to pay the price. Everyone in that video telling the average American it's short-term pain for long-term gain. Every single one of them probably has plenty of money, probably doesn't notice the energy bills going up, probably doesn't notice the grocery bills going up. Do you think they even shop for their own groceries? They probably don't even notice the price at the pump going up. It doesn't impact them. They aren't living in the margins like the rest of the people in this country, like the average American in this country. And so here comes another election cycle. Here comes another Republican turncoat. Here comes another fake conservative, Donald Trump, and all of the lapdog media. You need to pay the price. You, the average American, you need to pay the price again, as if you haven't been paying it your entire life. As if you, the American, you haven't been paying the price your entire life. You have not done your patriotic duty as an American your entire life. You haven't suffered your entire life as the rest of the world steals our money, as our military is used for foreign and special interest, as the military-industrial complex keeps war going 24/7 around the clock to enrich themselves, as the Fed prints money into oblivion so that you lose the value of your dollar. You haven't sacrificed enough. You haven't. Oh, and then they find this college student gets killed by an illegal alien let in under Joe Biden. You know, hey, sorry, that's just your life. That's just your life. You understand? You need to do your patriotic duty. No, we can't do the mass deportations. No, we cannot arrest the deep state criminals that facilitated the invasion of this country. No, we can't shut down all the different funders and organizers of the illegal invasion of your country. We can't do any of that. None of that can happen. Pay the price, American. Pay that price, you dirty American. Pay your taxes. Send your sons and daughters to die. Send your sons and daughters to the school systems that suck. Just keep paying the price, American. I don't know when the return is going to be. I don't know when we're ever going to save the country. We're not. Let's be honest. It's never happening. It's not going to happen. So just keep paying the price until there is nothing left. And that's the big plan. That's the big plan. You want to know the big plan? You, the American, you have to keep sacrificing and keep paying the price until there is nothing left. Until there is nothing left for this deep state. Until there is nothing left for this corrupt Washington, D.C. establishment. Until there's nothing left for them to take from you. You have to keep paying that price. And then when there's nothing left, there'll be no more price to pay because they'll have taken everything. And then don't worry, though. And then don't worry. Because then we'll bring in the AI surveillance system. We'll bring in the AI government. You can enter the one world order, and they'll just steal your entire country. They'll just steal everything your generations of Americans created, all the wealth, all the prosperity, all the freedom, all of it. They will steal, they will kill all of that. And when it's all gone, they will replace it with the AI government, and you'll have nothing. You'll have nothing. And why are you complaining about that? Don't you know? Pay the price. Be an American patriot. Take your vaccine. Wear your masks. Pay more at the pump. Pay more for energy. Pay more for groceries. Do your patriotic duty. Don't ask who this all benefits. Shut up, dirty American. They treat you like a slave. That's how they think of you. And it's all a big joke. It's all a big joke. You know, we'll get to, well, you know what? Let's go to President Trump. We'll get some of these headlines later. Let's go to President Trump here. So the story is I'm not sure what to believe at this point, but the story is Kushner and Witkoff are apparently in negotiations with Iran. Nobody knows what the hell is going on, but this is what President Trump is basically claiming. Now, what's interesting about this statement here, he's asked about who are we talking to in Iran. His answer to that is pretty telling.
Who is Steve Witkoff speaking with, Mr. President? A top person. Don't forget, we've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3. But we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody. Is that the Supreme Leader? No, not the Supreme Leader. We don't. Well, nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the Son. Are these direct? Nobody. We have not heard from the Son. Every once in a while, you see a statement made, but we haven't. We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it, and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place. Mr. President, again, Mr. President, I know you deployed. I don't want him to be killed. Okay, I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. Nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country. But perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Mr. President,
Well, a lot to take away there. First of all, I think the big takeaway here is he says, I can't tell you who we're talking to because I don't want that person to be killed. Now, again, I don't know if I believe anything Trump says anymore, quite frankly. He's basically like Barack Obama now, where you can't trust anything he says. So he says, we don't want to name the name of who we're talking to because we are afraid that he will be killed. Now, who's doing that? Who's doing that? This has been the story since Trump got into office, by the way. No matter who the Trump administration is negotiating with, no matter who it is, Witkoff, Kushner, Trump himself, it doesn't matter. Whenever Netanyahu's affiliates, his satellites that are supposed to be involved in all of these meetings, whenever they're not there, they freak out. And the reason is obvious. Because Netanyahu and his team are liars. They are lying to the American people. They are lying to the American allies. They are lying to everyone. Netanyahu's regime, they're lying to the Israelis. They are lying to everybody. So if you ever have a conversation without Netanyahu or his affiliates at the table, well, then all of their lies get exposed. So every time the Trump administration tries to have meetings or negotiations without the Israelis there, they throw an absolute fit. They go full Mark Levin, because if they're not there to control the narrative and keep their lies as truths, then they look like the liars and the criminals and the crooks that they are. So now what is it? So now Trump is trying to have a negotiation, or it's Witkoff or it's Kushner, whoever it is. Israel finds out who they're talking to, and they kill him. They kill him. Because Israel doesn't want there to be a peace deal, in case you haven't figured it out. And the biggest joke of it all here is still President Trump. President Trump becomes the biggest joke of it all because he's the one that they're dragging around. He's the one that they're embarrassing. He's the one where Trump comes out and says something and Israel says the opposite or does the opposite and then just leaves him holding the bag. It's been happening the entire administration. How many times has Israel violated the so-called peace agreements that the Trump team has negotiated? Every single time. Remember just a year ago when Trump came out and he said they don't know what the F they're doing? The last time Israel stabbed him in the back, the last time Israel lied to him, the last time Israel killed when they said they'd stop killing, they can't help themselves. So Trump just said the big truth out loud. We can't even have negotiations with Iran because everyone we talk to, Israel kills. Israel doesn't want peace. Israel doesn't want negotiations. They want one thing and one thing only, and that's total death and destruction and then power. That's it. That's all they know. That's all they desire. There is no lie they won't tell. There is no human they won't kill. Everybody's figured it out. Everybody paying attention to this story has figured it out. No matter what point of view they come into this with. A lot of people came into this very neutral. A lot of people came to this very supportive of Israel. A lot of people have not been fans of Israel. Everyone's reached the same conclusion. Israel doesn't want peace. Israel is using the Trump administration. Israel is using the United States of America. Israel is using the American media all for its own benefit. And they will lie. There is no lie they won't tell. There is no human they won't kill. And everybody's figured it out. Everybody's realized it. And we're just sitting here wondering, it's like, okay, how far does this have to go? How bad does this have to get? And there's Trump saying it out loud. We can't negotiate peace because every person we negotiate with, Israel kills. So I don't know what you want me to do. I can't tell you who we're talking to because nobody knows what's going on. And somehow, yet somehow, Iran is still standing. Iran is still bombing. Iran still has enough power, enough leverage here that this deal continues to go on, and Trump can't say it's over, and they can't control the Strait of Hormuz. So what's really going on? Who's really running the show? Who's really winning the war? So he says it all out loud right there. We can't get peace. We can't negotiate a deal because Israel won't let us. And it's never been more obvious. And I don't understand why Trump just doesn't say enough is enough, we're done. That's what's so frustrating about this whole thing. That's what's so ridiculous about this whole thing. Everyone knows Netanyahu is a total pest as far as geopolitics is concerned. Everybody knows Netanyahu is a psychotic, bloodlusting liar as far as the international community is concerned. Everybody knows it. Even Trump has expressed the frustration. And we've heard all kinds of stories from past administrations. It's never different with Netanyahu. It's never different with the Israelis. And it's just like, we don't understand. Why are we still sitting here dealing with them? Is it really all about the Epstein files? Honestly, it's like, you don't want to get sucked into this vortex of the same conclusion, but it's just like, how can you make sense of it? How is it that Israel gets to act the way it does and we can't even step away? Whatever, we're afraid if you say the wrong thing, you're going to be an anti-Semite. Oh my God. Oh my God. The worst crime you could commit. So fine. We don't have to say anything negative. Can we just say, hey, we're out? Like, can we just say, hey, we've tried? Hey, Israel, we've tried. We've done a lot for you. We've been in the Middle East for decades here off your intelligence and in your interest, and it just hasn't really worked, and the people are sick of it, and so we have a new mandate, so we're just out. And you guys can figure out whatever you want to do in that region. You can figure out whatever you're going to do with the 7 countries you're currently bombing. You can figure out whatever you want to do with the rest of the neighboring countries that we pay off for your protection. We're not going to be paying them off anymore either. We're going to cut that foreign aid from them too. So they're not going to get our money to stop from attacking you too. So good luck with that. We tried. We really tried it hard with this Iran deal. We tried negotiating. You guys killed all the negotiators. Now we've got 13 Americans dead. Now we need hundreds of billions of dollars more for this war. It's all for you. We get nothing out of it. So we're just going to step away. And you know what? Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and the rest of them, you guys can deal with it just fine, I'm sure. But we're done. We're stepping away. Sorry, you guys can figure it out for yourself. No, we can't even do that. Why can't we do that? Is it really the AIPAC money? Is it really the Epstein list? Are they all blackmailed? What is the deal? Do they really all care about Israel that much? Well, go ahead and move there. Screw the cliche. Just do it. What is it? It makes no sense. Well, now Trump, this guy's totally unhinged. Now he's mad at Newsmax. God forbid Newsmax ask a legitimate question. Trump likes CNN now. Listen to this.
Mr. President, you've deployed ICE agents to American airports. Newsmax, sir. You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a very good job.
You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a good job. Did you hear me? Okay, go ahead.
What exactly do you want from
You
these
believe in
talks?
taking CNN over Newsmax?
What
You believe
exactly are you looking for in these talks, Mr. President?
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it.
So again, no nuclear bomb, no, that's not even a problem. Just made up, just lies, just total propaganda. Now he sides with CNN over Newsmax. Trump now likes CNN over Newsmax. We all know why. Because the Ellisons have taken it over. And the Ellisons cut a deal with Trump to make it more Trump positive. That's why CNN comes out with a poll that says Trump gets 100%. Trump gets 100% support. And he believes it. He believes it, by the way. Listen, he goes out to the press and he cites CNN and says, I have 100% approval. Watch this.
Polls have shown that MAGA is essentially unified behind you, as are Republicans when it comes to Iran. There's been reports that, the United States might be sending 2,500 Marines to the Middle East. Are you concerned that a move like that could potentially change the unity?
Well, I don't know. I seem to have great support because CNN came out with a poll today that I'm at 100%. And they said they've never seen a poll like that. The CNN poll said I'm at 100%, and they've never seen that before.
Folks, this is crazy. Can we stop? Can we just take a deep breath, guys? I don't care where you're at politically. You love Trump, you hate Trump, right wing, left wing, whatever. You hate me, you love me. Can we just stop? Folks, we're in clown world with this guy. This is Biden. This is Biden, but his brain works better. They came out, did you see it? 100% support. A CNN poll. Can you believe that? They've never seen anything like it. No kidding, because it's fake, because it's made up, because it's propaganda. I mean, this is clown world. This is embarrassing. This is insulting.
Which is an honor. I was impressed that CNN would do that. But as far as troops are concerned, I can't tell you what we're doing.
I don't know what we're doing with troops, but 100% approval from CNN. Wow, amazing they would do that. This guy's a clown. I just can't believe it, man. It's so sad. It's so sad people cover for this. People run with this. People still believe in this guy. He's out here quoting 100% approval rating polls from CNN. Like, this guy's so cooked. We can't even get out of the Middle East, guys. We can't even get out of the Middle East. And Trump's out here telling you he's got 100% approval from a CNN poll. They've never seen anything like it. Yeah, no kidding, because we're not a communist country until now, I guess. It's insane. Honestly, this guy is so insane. So then he comes out and he's asked about Joe Kent. This is the same insult he lobbed towards Thomas Massey, by the way.
Mr. President, do you know whether Joe Kent was leaking?
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy. If you look at, and you never cover this, if you look at his Truths or whatever he went on, if it's X or Truth, if you look...
Stop it. Nobody's on Truth Social. Stop it. Stop it. Just a shameless plug from this clown president.
Look at his Truths or his statements. He was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't. He was...
That's not true, so he's lying.
Was a man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He remarried fairly quickly.
4 years later. He remarried 4 years later. 4 years. 4 years, you liar. You're a scumbag, Trump. I can't believe I have to sit here and say this. You are a scumbag.
His wife was killed, and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress, he lost. He ran for Congress again, and he lost. I said,
He ran as a Republican in deep blue Washington, and he actually almost won. In deep blue Washington, in blue districts, he actually almost won.
He's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him. He was pretty heartbroken, But I said, you know, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me, you know?
What do you mean? What about what you did to us? What about what you've done to us, Mr. President? We already let it slide with COVID and Operation Warp Speed, and maybe that's on us. Maybe that one is on us for letting that slide. Maybe that should have been our final straw with you. When you destroyed our economy with COVID, and then you did Operation Warp Speed, and you shoved a bunch of vaccines into people's arms and gave Joe Biden the clearance to mandate it. You know, maybe that's on us. Maybe that's on us for not saying we're done with you after COVID. And then you dare come out here and say, I can't believe what he's done. Look at what you've done. You promised no new wars. Now we're back in the Middle East for hundreds of billions of dollars and probably dozens of dead American soldiers. Look at what you've done. Zero deep state arrests. Look at what you've done. National debt at an all-time high. What do you mean what Joe Kent has done to us? Look at what you've done to us, man. You're the biggest traitor I've ever seen in my life. It's one thing when the Democrats get in there and they betray the country. We expect that. When Joe Biden says, when I get in office, we're going to surge the border, and he does it, we expect the Democrats to be traitors. We expect the Democrats to destroy this country. You pretend to be something else. You pretend to be an American patriot. You pretend to be America first. You pretend to be the higher standard. You pretend to be the agent of change. And then you get in there and everything was a lie. And then the actual America first patriots that are trying to save this country, you stab them in the back and you feed them to your cult like it's chum in the water. I can't stand this guy anymore. I'm begging Trump to make me look like an idiot. I'm begging Trump to turn this thing around. I'm begging Trump to fix the economy. I'm begging Trump to get out of these wars. He won't do it. He's not going to do it. It couldn't be more clear. He lied to us. He sold us out. And then he's going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe Joe Kent is doing this. Oh, okay. Did Joe Kent get the national debt to record levels? No, you did that twice. Did Joe Kent refuse to do mass deportations? No, that's you. Did Joe Kent lie to the American people about no new wars in Iran? No, that was you. No, it's not Joe Kent that ran on a bunch of lies and now looks like a corrupt politician like the rest of them. That's you, Donald Trump. And I don't give a damn what you think about Joe Kent, what anybody thinks about Joe Kent. I couldn't care less. We're looking at you. We're looking at this administration. We're looking on it now sitting on a throne of lies. And you're going to come out here and throw Joe Kent under the bus? Oh, and just like Thomas Massey, oh, I can't believe they got remarried. How many times have you been married? What are we talking about here? Now we're talking about getting remarried as the moral compass? Those two men took an oath to their wives till death do us part. Both of their wives died. You took that same oath till death do them part, but they didn't die. You just married someone else. And then he's going to sit here and act like he has some moral high ground on the marriage issue? This is a joke. This is insulting to my intelligence. This is insulting to the country. But hey, America, pay more. Pay more for gas. That's your patriotic duty. It's your patriotic duty. And it's your patriotic duty to pay more for war, too, by the way. It's your patriotic duty to pay more for war. Get ready, guys. $200 billion. They're going to pass it.
I guess this $200 billion would be to replenish munitions spent, but I mean, it's still a lot of money, and it's still a lot of money from taxpayers.
Well, it's a lot of money, but it's going right into rebuilding our stockpiles, our own munitions. It's in America's best interest that we reshore all of these defense manufacturing jobs in the United States of America and make munitions and weapons at home rather than rely.
So that means that's not happening. So you're insinuating that none of that is happening. So we don't have any manufacturing capabilities right now. Okay.
On China and other countries around the world. So the $200 billion is going to go to America first priorities.
We don't know. So they don't know. They don't know where the $200 billion is going. They have no clue.
They're good for what we're trying to do to take out terrorists in Iran. It's good if we ever, hopefully, to deter a war with China over Taiwan and whatnot. So we haven't gotten through this full package yet, but we're working through it. It's a big price tag, but every dollar will be spent on America first priorities.
Yeah, nobody believes that for 1 second. Nobody believes that. Now, if you try to take this at face value, it's actually even worse. It's just so sad. I can't believe it, guys. I'm sorry. It's a Monday, I don't want to be upset. I want to hang out, have a good time with you guys. Start off the week without just jumping right into the pit of blackness and darkness and despair. But I mean, here we are. If you actually take that at face value, it's even worse. So he's saying we need $200 billion to replenish what we've done in Iran. So that means the current price tag on this war in Iran, which is somewhere in the 30 billions. So I guess really that price tag is somewhere in the hundreds of billions then, isn't it? So I guess if we need $200 billion to replenish what we've lost from the Iran war, doesn't that mean that the Iran war has cost $200 billion and not the $30 billion that they claim? So they're lying about the cost of this war too. Oh, don't worry. The $200 billion will be for America first interest. Fuck you. You're all dirty, rotten liars. Say it. Say where it's going. Tell us where $200 billion is going. Give us an idea where $200 billion. You have no idea. We're fighting terrorists. It's going to be America first. We need the manufacturing. Why isn't that happening? It just sucks because you wonder how long it's going to take now, You wonder how long it's going to take. We were hoping we could do it with Trump. It's not going to happen, folks. We're not saving this country with Trump. Trump's cooking this country like a Thanksgiving turkey. Trump is stuffing this cookie. He's got us in the oven. He's cooking us. He's cooking us. And he's going to come out and slice us up when it's all said and done. He's going to chop us up and eat us up. So we're not saving the country with Trump. And I guess he just believes at this point that they can just write their own legacy. Well, they're learning the hard way. That's not the case. They're learning the hard way. That's not going to be the case. We've tried to be a beacon here. We've been trying to warn them. We've been trying to send out the satellite signals, the emergency, the SOS signals. Hey, this isn't working. You're not fooling anybody. We're all turning against you. People are starting to hate you now. And they just said, we don't need you. We don't care. Screw you. Shut the F up. You're all panicking. We don't need you. Okay. All right, fine. But it just sucks. It's just like, okay, so now what? Now when do we get our next shot to save the country? I don't think it's going to be with a Democrat. I don't think it's going to be after the midterms. So we're looking at now, Trump has set us back decades. Trump, honestly, when it's all said and done, Trump already did permanent damage to this country in 2020. And he'll never get the proper credit because most people in the media, most people in the political media are even too stupid, even the smart ones. Trump permanently did damage to this country in 2020 when he allowed all the COVID shutdowns, when he allowed that to happen with the masks and everything else. That did permanent damage to our economy, permanent damage. And then he let them steal the election, and we got 4 years of Biden, 20 million illegal aliens. That did permanent damage to our country. And the next permanent damage that Trump is going to do to the country, whatever. We've been in the Middle East forever. It's like, whatever. All the money's fake anyway. So Trump sending more Americans to die for foreign and special interests. All right, par for the course. The permanent damage that Trump is going to do to America at this rate, he's going to give the Democrats Texas. That's going to be the permanent damage. And I think he knows it now. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I have it later in the stack. Trump was posting about the Senate race in Texas about the Democrat candidate because I think Trump realizes how bad this is. I think Trump realizes now the next permanent damage he's going to do to this country is he's going to turn Texas blue. Trump is such a Benedict Arnold now in the eyes of the American voters that Texas could go blue in the next 2 election cycles. That will be the next permanent damage that Trump does to this country. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now Trump's going to have to blame somebody for this war. He's not going to take the blame himself. Is he gearing up to blame Hegseth?
We can take a stop and make a little journey into the Middle East and eliminate a big problem.
So he's admitting that this is not America first. He admits that this is a total breaking of his campaign promises. A little detour into the Middle East. And who did we do that for, Trump? Who was asking for that, Trump? It wasn't us. Who asked for this, Trump? The donors? Netanyahu? Adelson? Who asked for this war, Trump? Because it wasn't us.
And Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up. And you said, let's do it. Because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So then he goes with that lie. So he's getting ready to blame it all on Trump. Or Trump is getting ready to blame it all on Hegseth. So get ready for that. Get ready for that. Whenever all this stuff goes down and it destroys Trump's credibility, he's just going to blame it on Hegseth. See how Hegseth appreciates that. So Stephen Miller, who was there today, did a long praise of Donald Trump and how great he is. This is what a big joke this whole thing is now, folks. So after Stephen Miller glazes Trump, listen to what Trump says next. So that's all. They're cheering because Miller just told Trump he's the greatest human to ever walk the earth. So, Cash, see if you can top that. I don't know. That's a tough one, Cash.
That is tough.
So it's all a big joke. It's all a big joke about who can suck Trump's balls the best, who can jerk Trump's knob the best, who can toss Trump's salad better than anyone else. That's how you politic in the Trump administration. That's how you politic as a Trump cabinet member. And if you dare say anything negative, you're out, and now you must be destroyed. Now you must be destroyed. On the other side of this, Netanyahu says maybe the most ironic thing in the history of the world coming up on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Well, are you interested in emergency food yet, guys? It's pretty crazy out there. I mean, you got to be thinking about it. Our friends at My Patriot Supply have a great offer for you right now. For this listening audience, when you go to preparewithowen.com, or you can scan that barcode on the screen. But here's the offer for the rest of this week. A 4-week emergency food kit plus a free 1-week ammo can. That's 5 weeks of emergency food preparedness for the price of 4. Great way to get it started. If you have nothing, folks, if you have nothing for emergency food supplies, this is the starter pack for you at preparewithowen.com. And the reason why we go with My Patriot's Food Supply, it's very simple. Highest quality food, highest quality storage, ready to store when it arrives, or ready to eat if you want. At least 2,000 calories a day, real meals made with real ingredients, no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, and shelf life measured in decades. So it's insurance you can eat. It's insurance for food, for yourself, for your family, for your house. It's a necessity. And with things getting crazier and crazier, and with a government that hates us, you might want to think about taking care of yourself. Go to preparewithowen.com or scan the barcode on the screen. A 4-week emergency food supply kit plus the free 1-week ammo can. My Patriot Supply is well known for the highest quality emergency food out there. It's really not even close. They are the gold standard. That's why we've partnered with them at preparewithowen.com. This is the last week to take advantage of this offer, so do it before it's gone.
Navigating between the sane and insane. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Okay. Well, I guess this kind of sums it up for me today. I'm not really sure where you go from here. Headline, Fox 5 DC headline. A professional cornhole player with no arms or legs has been accused of murder, stabbing someone. A full amputee cornhole player is accused of stabbing someone to death. I'm not sure where the questions begin and end on that deal. I don't know, guys. I think we might have to dedicate an hour to this. I need to know the logistics of this. Amputee cornhole player. First of all, right there. What? How are we playing cornhole here, bud? Can I get a video demonstration? It's got to be with the teeth, right? It's got to be a biting. It's got to be a gripping them with the jaw and like a dog, right? I mean, that's how else are you throwing the bag? Okay. Oh, it was a shooting. No arms or legs. A professional cornhole player with no arms and legs is now shooting people. Can I get a demonstration? Is there any way? I can't figure this one out. I have to tell you, but I'm very interested. Wait a second. This gets even crazier. So you're like, okay, a cornhole player with no arms and legs. Whoa. All right. Still trying to figure that one out. Now he's apparently shooting people. I was still trying to figure out how he threw the bag in cornhole. Now he's firing guns. Now the tongue has to be utilized here. This has to be a tongue-related incident. No, it doesn't end there. Police say Dayton Weber, who is the professional cornhole player with no arms and legs, shot the victim Wells from inside a car, then drove off with the victim's body. I'm checking my calendar. It's not April Fool's Day yet. Okay. So I've got a man. He has no arms. He has no legs. He is somehow a professional cornhole player. And as if that doesn't defy the odds enough, see, he wasn't satisfied. Apparently, he's now shooting people and driving cars. Is he in the car? Did he load the body into the car? How is this happening? Shoots the guy, flees the scene. How is he driving? How is he playing cornhole? How is he doing all three of these things at the same time with no arms and legs? Okay. Happy Monday. That, wow. Okay. That's going to do it for me today. I'm good for the week, guys. I think that's it for me. I've got a guy playing professional cornhole with no arms and legs who's also driving a car while shooting people. I'm done. I think I'm good. I think I'm good, guys. It's been nice knowing you. There's no coming back from this. Okay. All right. I'm kidding. You're going to have to deal with me at least for another 2 hours today. So Netanyahu, this has to be the most, I don't even know how to sum this up. The lack of self-awareness, the hypocrisy, the irony, the double standards put on display here are unreal. So this is Netanyahu. Now keep a couple things in mind. Since the beginning of this, let's say round 2 of this recent war, where Iran has been striking Israel with multiple missiles, there's been a not unwritten rule, but a very distinct rule that you are not allowed to film or report any of the war activity to the rest of the world or within Israel without express written consent. And so obviously the purpose of this was to keep up the facade that this is, Iran is a paper tiger, as Trump says, or that this war has been nothing but a victory, even though there have been mass casualties in Israel, and the Israeli people, for the most part, are living in bunkers as these days go by. So they've done a complete reversal. So now Netanyahu wants to go out to the damage. Now Netanyahu wants to show the world the damage that's been caused by Iran. Now, they were doing the exact opposite for the first 3 weeks of this war. For the first 3 weeks, it was don't show anyone the damage. There is no damage. We're winning. Now he says, okay, I'm going to go shoot a video with the damage to show everybody what's happening. So there was obviously a strategic reason to change their policy there. But then what he actually says from the scene is even crazier.
If anyone needed an explanation of why Iran is the enemy of civilization and the enemy and the danger to the entire world, you got it in the last 48 hours.
Now, folks, I shouldn't even have to explain the blatant hypocrisy here, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then we have to have this moment of reflection upon what we're witnessing here from Netanyahu. So what happens? So Israel bombs Iran. That's what happens. Israel bombs Iran. And then what does Iran do? It bombs back. That's what happened. That is a fact. Nobody is denying this fact. There's no dispute here. Israel bombed Iran, and Iran bombed Israel back. This is not a debate. This is not a dispute. This is a well-known fact that that's what happened. Now, Netanyahu comes out and says this is proof that Iran is an enemy to the planet, an enemy to civilization. Well, then what does that make Israel? What does that make Netanyahu? If Iran bombing Israel in response to getting bombed, then Israel is Satan. Then Israel is the greatest force of evil in the history of the world. Then Israel is the worst country, the most evil people, the most evil regime in the history of the entire world, if this is our standard. How can you deny it? Where is the dispute of this? If Iran bombing somebody back is an enemy of civilization, then what is Israel doing bombing 7 countries and killing hundreds of thousands of people and bombing Iran first? What does that make them? If by Netanyahu's standards, this war makes Iran an enemy of humanity and an enemy of the planet, then what does that make Israel? The ultimate Satan? And isn't that what Iran calls them, ironically enough? I mean, okay. So hit pause. Guys, are we we're at this weird moment. We're at this weird moment, and I'm trying to figure it out. I have to tell you, I'm at a bit of a loss here. This has to be the most absurd thing that we've witnessed in a long time. Maybe ever, quite frankly. As far as geopolitics is concerned, this could be the most absurd thing that we have ever witnessed. I feel like I'm talking to the woke left. I mean, I don't even know. I feel like I'm talking to the trans kids supporters. I feel like I'm talking to the abortion celebrators. I feel like I'm talking to the censorship brigade. I feel like I'm talking to the anti-Second Amendment activists. Like, I feel like I'm talking to the most unintentionally ironic buffoons in politics dealing with this Netanyahu now. I mean, can somebody try, honestly, can somebody figure this out for me? Can somebody try to make sense of this for me? Because it makes no sense. How is it that Netanyahu is going to come out here and say that Iran is the enemy of civilization when Israel has been doing everything that Iran has been doing times 100, times 1,000, honestly? I mean, how do you even measure it? Times 1,000,000? By Netanyahu's own standards, he is the most evil man on the planet. By Netanyahu's own logic, Israel is the enemy of civilization. By Netanyahu's own logic. What are we doing here? Why am I in the land of the lost? I am in insano world now. We're beyond clown world. Netanyahu gets bombed in a response, in a retaliation. I mean, this is a joke. Netanyahu walks over to Iran, punches Iran in the face, and then Iran punches back, and Netanyahu says, "Oh my God, I'm the victim. Look at that jerk over there. Everybody needs to pile up on him. Everybody needs to go get them. They're the bad guys." And we're all sitting here like, dude, we just watched you walk right up to him and punch him in the mouth. What are you talking about? We just watched you do that. No, you all saw. He punched me in the mouth. He's the bad guy. He's your enemy. Everybody go get him. Dude, we literally just watched you walk right up to that person and punch them in the mouth. You did that. What is going on? Like, how is it this insane? That's Netanyahu's own logic. That's not my logic. That's Netanyahu's own logic. So they changed their stance on we don't want anybody to see the damage. Now they want everybody to see the damage. And by Netanyahu's own logic, he himself is the most evil man on the planet, and Israel is the enemy of civilization by Netanyahu's own logic.
In the last 48 hours, they fired a terror weapon on civilians.
A terror weapon. Oh, when Israel bombs, it's a peace weapon. When America bombs, it's a loving bomb. And they bomb first. So Israel in America sends its peace and love, kills 200 schoolgirls and thousands of civilians. And then Iran gets bombed back. It's a terror bomb, and they're terrorists.
On children, there's a children's nursery here. There's an old person's home here. Civilians, families.
Yeah, you guys killed civilians too. Israel has killed more civilians than every other country on earth combined in the last 3 years. You guys are the deadliest country. Per capita, Israel kills more than every other country on earth combined.
They fire terror weapons on civilians, and often they use cluster bombs, which are forbidden by international law.
Oh, and so is white phosphorus, and so is killing children, and so is pretty much everything Israel's been doing the last 3 years. But you don't want to be held accountable. That's why you won't go face up to the International Criminal Court. That's why the UN won't respond to you when you're asking for help, because they want you for war crimes. Your own country has you on trial right now. You won't even show up for court.
The second thing that they did is that they fired on Jerusalem right next to the holy places. They sent ballistic missiles that could have destroyed the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
So now he's trying to drag Christians into this holy war. And it's Israel that closed the church. Israel is trying to close the church and take it over, by the way. They're claiming the church owes Israel hundreds of millions in taxes. That's happening right now, by the way. So this guy pretending like he cares about that church. Give me a break.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Western Wall.
And they're also the ones that shut down the mosque, by the way. They're also the ones that shut that down. So just total lies here.
The three holiest sites to the three monotheistic religions, they don't care. They're firing on everyone. The third thing they did,
like you guys, fire on everyone,
is they fired an intercontinental ballistic missiles 4,000 kilometers right into Diego Garcia, the American-British base. They can reach now with these ballistic missiles everywhere in Europe.
And none of this would be happening if we didn't bomb them for you. And none of this would be happening if you were not the prime minister of Israel. The only reason why there's all this death and destruction is because of you, Bibi. because of you. You are the number one reason why the world is on fire. You are the number one reason why the Middle East is on fire. You are the number one reason why people are dying by the thousands in the Middle East. You, Bibi, you. And you have the nerve to come out here and point your finger at anybody. I don't care how evil the Iranians are. I don't care how evil the Iranian regime is. They are nothing compared to you. Guys, I got to say, I can't believe it, man. I just can't believe we're here. Honestly. I'm just stunned that we're here. And it's like, I don't even want to care. I don't even want to care about Israel's problems or Iran's problems or whatever the hell's going on in the Middle East. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to have an opinion on Netanyahu. I don't want to come out here and tell you what a lying manipulator Bibi Netanyahu is. I don't even want to deal with this. And yet, here we are. Here we are. You can't even fly in this country. You can't even fly in this country right now. You can't even go on a road trip. Gas is too expensive. And I've got Bibi Netanyahu out here with the most absurd level of gaslighting, out here with the most absurd level of hypocrisy, and my country has to pay for it all. And you won't see this, by the way. You won't see this in the American media. You know, Netanyahu gets protested every day. Did you know that?
We are here again, day after day, to protest against the war in Iran, against the war in Lebanon, against the war in Gaza and in the West Bank. We understand that this is a misleading war because it will bring no one safety. It will bring no one a better life. It will just cause more destruction and more death. And we demand to stop this forever war because the people in the entire Middle East.
This is in Israel, by the way. This is in Israel.
They deserve better. We are here, hundreds of people. Yesterday we were dozens, and this is our only way to show our leadership, Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, and also President Trump, that we do not believe a word they're saying. They're not fighting for the people in Iran. They're not fighting for the people of Lebanon, and they're most certainly not fighting for the people in Israel. They're fighting for themselves. We do not believe them. We will not serve their war.
So you got to wonder. What is the end goal here? What is the final stage of all this? What is it that they really want? Because obviously everything they're telling us is a lie. Everything they're telling us is a lie. The most aggressive, expansionist, leading death toll country in the world is Israel. It's not even close. And it's like, then you have to come on here and couch these statements. And it's like, look, hey, not all Jews agree with this. Not all Israelis agree with this. And then you deal with the back and forth because of that. And it's like, well, then it's not even worth it to go into that discussion. What is the end goal here? They don't even tell you. Do they want a nuclear war? Do they want millions dead? Do they want billions dead? Do they want America to get hit? Do they want Israel to get hit? Do they want nukes? Is it really about regime change in Iran? Does anybody even know? Does anybody even have a clue? Because when I see that from Netanyahu, you're in a different world now, guys. You're in a different world now. So you have to understand, when they change, when they do a 180, as far as we don't want anyone to see the damage in Israel, to send Netanyahu out there so everyone can see the damage in Israel, something is not going right. They're obviously losing the narrative and losing the war, that they've decided to change their tactics on that story. But then is it like, again, what am I supposed to think here as a neutral observer, watching Israel bomb 7 countries at the same time, watching Israel kill over 100,000 people, watching Israel kill tens of thousands of children, and then dragging us into the killing of children too. And all they can say is Iran wants a nuke. And then that's all they can say, which Israel has nukes and America has nukes. So that's all they can say. And then Netanyahu comes out here and says, by these standards, by my standards that I've laid out here today, now the world sees that Iran is the enemy of humanity. Now the world sees that Iran is the biggest evil and threat to civilization. And I'm sitting here as a neutral observer saying, okay, if this is the standard, then Israel is 1,000 times worse than Iran, and it's not even close. And so what other conclusion are you supposed to reach? And then I guess the answer to that is, no, you don't understand, silly goyim. You don't understand, stupid, dirty American. Israel's more important than you. And then they remind you that the Jews are the chosen people, and you are here to serve them. And I guess you're just supposed to accept that then. I guess Iran is supposed to accept that. I guess the rest of the world is supposed to accept that. I guess America is supposed to accept that. But then you realize, oh, okay, I am a second-class citizen. Oh, I see. I see. But then you realize, if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't be able to do any of it. If it wasn't for the United States of America and Israel using our blood and treasure to fight their wars, they wouldn't get away with any of this. Sad to say, but they might not even exist. Where would Israel be without the United States of America? And then they have the nerve, Netanyahu and Huckabee and the rest of them, and then they have the nerve and they say, America wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Israel. Just to really rub it in your face, just to really slap you, just to really kick you in the nuts. It's not enough that your way of life is declining. It's not enough that every promise gets broken by this administration for Israel's interest. It's not enough that Netanyahu is the biggest liar on the planet and he controls your foreign policy. That's not enough. On top of all of that, you have to be reminded that you are here to serve a foreign country and that you are here to serve God's chosen people. On top of all of it. And then when you realize, oh, wait, I just did the math on this. I just did the formula on this. Actually, they're the ones that need us. Actually, they're the ones that need us. And this is where we're at. This is where we're at. And this isn't even about me. I'm just like a node with a PA system. I'm just like a human node with a PA system. And this is how America feels. Like, this is what America's going through. This is how the average American feels. I am just a receiving beacon and a public address system that this is how America feels. This is what we see. This is what we think. This is what's happening. And now you say, okay, well, how do we fix it? How do we make sense of it? And then you're reminded with Trump, you can't. You can't. Even the guy that you thought was your champion ended up being the biggest backstabber. Even the guy who made the promises not to do this to us again, even he stabbed us in the back. Even he betrayed us. And even he's in bed with the guy that's lying to us about everything. Oh, well, Mark Levin, though, he's your American. He's the all-American host. Listen to this. This is hilarious. Again, with the double standards.
Israel's Air Force is larger than France's. It's larger than Great Britain's. You go, what? I mean, there are 9 million people there. It's just incredible. So my view is very simple.
Yeah, because Israel is obsessed with death and destruction, and the rest of the world isn't. It's very simple. Israel is at war and killing people all the time. They have been for thousands of years. It goes all the way back to the Old Testament. There's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. These same people in the same part of the world have been killing and raping and pillaging and everything for thousands of years. For thousands of years, they've been getting killed and killing. They've been raping and getting raped. They've been enslaving and being enslaved. It's been going on for thousands of years. I just want nothing to do with it. So yes, Mark, no one is surprised that Israel has more military assets because Israel does the most killing.
About this. They don't get the benefits of this war either. That is, I don't know what the president has in mind with respect to this oil, but I don't think it should just flow freely to Britain.
So Mark Levin wants Israel to get all of the oil. He doesn't want Europe to get any of the oil. He wants Israel to get all of the oil. And it's hilarious to have Mark Levin up here saying, we don't want Europe to benefit from this war. As here's a guy who's never fought a day in his life. He's not going to send his sons and daughters. His family left the Middle East to come and live in the safety and comfort and prosperity of America. And he gets to reap all the spoils of the American way of life. This little rat, this fiending, gnawing rat, he gets to reap all the benefits of American life. He gets to reap all the benefits of the American military and our blood and treasure. He gets to reap it all. He wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight, this little turd, this little walking rat turd. And he's going to come on here and say, I don't want Europe to benefit from this at all. This guy, this is the most anti-white bigot on the planet. You thought Black Lives Matter was racist against whites? Mark Levin is racist against whites. Mark Levin thinks he owns you. Mark Levin believes he has the right to your blood and treasure. And the minute he sees a white country that might benefit from the United States of America, he says, no, that's all for Israel. A white country gets no benefits. It's all for Israel. And it's amazing for Mark Levin, who left the Middle East, whose family abandoned Israel to come to America for the safety and prosperity, and he has made himself fabulously wealthy in the United States of America, lying to the American people, acting as a foreign interest. And he's going to dare to come on here and say all that oil, that should all go to Israel, because that's all Mark Levin thinks about. It's all he's ever thought about. That's his entire purpose here. That's his entire purpose in the American media. I can't stand him. Get off my screen. And then here's more irony. Listen to this. It's like, do they even hear themselves talk? Listen to what Pete Hegseth said over the weekend.
To that point on capabilities, Iran is an energy-rich country, could be, should be. Instead, like so many other places driven by a radical ideology, they've spent that money instead of investing in their people. That's why you had millions of Iranians protesting, because they felt like their quality of life didn't match what it could be or should be. And what was the Iranian state? There's a reason we call Iran the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, because they took the money they make and they invest it in tunnels.
Folks, they take their people's money and invest it in war. Does that sound like Iran or America? Again, I don't care about Iran. I don't want to hear about Iran. Iran is not my problem and would never be my problem. What country spends more money on war than they do their own people? That's the United States of America. I don't want to hear you say Iran. Don't even say Iran. You guys are asking for $200 billion now for this war. And you're going to dare point the finger at some foreign country and say they spend all their money on foreign interests. How much money does America spend in foreign aid every year? Hundreds of billions. How much money did America spend in Ukraine? Hundreds of billions. How much money is America spending on Israel's interests? Hundreds of billions. And Pete Hegseth, who's now another liar. They're all liars. Everyone in this administration has turned out to be a two-faced, phony liar. I don't care if they all go to prison. I'm done with all of them. Screw them all. I'm done. You guys did this. You guys did this. You ran against the deep state. You promised us reform. You said you'd arrest the deep state criminals. You said you'd save the country. You're doing the exact thing every single one of them has done. So I'm out. I'm not here to defend you anymore. If you guys get impeached, if you guys get charged with treason or whatever the hell else, I'm out. I'm done. You did it to yourselves. You guys did this. You did this, Pete Hegseth. And guess what? Trump's going to throw you under the bus too. Oh, you think you're riding high now? Get ready. Trump will throw you under the bus faster than anything you've seen in your life. Faster than you could put up 350 on the bench, if that's even real. And you're going to have the nerve to go in front of the American people at a Pentagon press conference and say Iran spends all of its money on foreign interest. Iran spends all of its money on weapons and defense and military. That's us, you jerk. That's us, you a-hole. I liked these guys, man. I liked you, Pete. I wanted to defend you, Pete. And now you're going to come on here and insult my intelligence? Now you're going to come on here and insult the American people? You're going to say, oh, Iran is the country that spends all of its wealth on war. That's us. 5 trillion bled into the Middle East. 5 trillion, Pete. And you guys are going to ask for another 200 billion. Screw you, dude. Screw you. Screw you, you sellout. Screw you, you traitor. You're going to come out here and say, oh, Iran spends all. Screw you, man. You guys did this. I can't do it, guys. I just can't do it. By the way, Iran is denying. Iran is denying all of this. They're saying, oh, we're not talking to Trump. So Trump, somebody's just making it up. I don't trust any of them. You got countries all around the world that can't even get access to oil. Cuba is a blackout. Slovenia limits fuel purchases as some pumps run dry. You got protests in Japan as well. I think Trump realized. I think Trump realized he screwed this country by being so bad that Texas might go blue. By the way, he put out this statement about James Tallarico, who is running as the Senate candidate in Texas. And he's calling him a fraud and all of this stuff. It's like, okay, whatever, it's a Democrat. Why is Trump talking about James Tallarico? Because Trump realizes that he is so bad that he might turn Texas blue. Trump realizes he's so unpopular and that his second administration has been such a glorious disaster that Texas might go blue. Folks, I'm telling you. Look, maybe you're with me. Maybe you think I'm off the rails today. Maybe you disagree with me. But I'm telling you, there are things that are already undeniable. Trump did permanent damage to this country with COVID, and Trump did permanent damage to this country when he let Joe Biden steal the election. Trump did that. Those things happened when Trump was president. Okay? That happened when Trump was president. That is a fact. Those things did permanent damage to our country. Now, this administration is so bad. It has become such a story of betrayal. It has become such a story of corruption and disgust that now it could turn Texas blue, and that will be the number 3 thing that Trump does permanent damage to this country with, and that might be the permanent damage. That might be the good night sauce if Texas goes blue. It's over. It's over. Republicans will never win anything ever again. And the Democrats will rewrite the entire rule book in their favor. And that will be Trump's final legacy. Most people will probably forget how he destroyed the country with COVID. Most people will probably forget how he let the Democrats steal an election. Most people will probably forget about that, especially if they don't arrest a single person that was responsible for it. If while Trump is president, they turn Texas blue and it goes that way for 2, 3, 4 election cycles, that could be the permanent damage. That could be night, America. And I think Trump knows it now, too. And that might be the first, in fact, that could be the only thing that could save this administration, because Trump, I think, is just as delusional as his supporters are. I think Trump is just as delusional as his supporters are. And I think the deep state, the swamp that surrounds him now, has realized how to control him and manipulate him by gatekeeping what he sees and what he doesn't see. So he's tuning into Fox News. He's tuning into CNN. Oh, wow, CNN poll. Look at that. 100%. I must be pretty good. It's all rigged. Like most of the stuff that you witness now, most of it is rigged only for Trump's eyes. Like when you're watching Fox News, that's literally just aimed at Trump. They don't give a damn if you're watching. Fox News doesn't give a damn. Let's say there's 100 million people that watch Fox News. They only care about one, and that is Trump. The entire programming now is all to deceive and manipulate Trump. That's it. And that's why he's in such this delusion land, because he's just sitting there watching propaganda that is literally catered for him. And he thinks, oh, it's the news. Except now it's CNN too. No. CNN, Fox, their only existence purpose is to manipulate Trump. That's it. They don't care who's watching. It's all about Trump. This is how they're deceiving him. So he really thinks this war is popular. He really thinks people like this war. The one thing that could actually salvage this is if we can somehow penetrate this gatekeeping propaganda apparatus that has made Trump retarded. And if we can somehow penetrate this and get him to realize that his legacy is not going to be Trump in gold now. His legacy is going to be the Trump name in dirt. It doesn't matter how much money him and his family make in the second administration, which they're going to make billions. The Trump family will be richer than ever. Whatever. It doesn't matter how rich the Trump family gets. Trump will destroy his legacy. He will have his legacy and his name destroyed. It'll be worse than Biden. The Trump name will be worse than Biden. It'll be worse than Clinton. It'll be worse than Bush. That is the only way. If we can somehow get this thought into Trump's head, if he doesn't turn this around, the Trump political legacy will be worse than Bush, Clinton, and Biden if he doesn't turn this around. And what will cement it is if Texas goes blue. That's what will cement Trump's legacy. And it's the only chance we have for him to wake the hell up. It's the only chance is to play on his ego, to play on his narcissism. That's what the swamp figured out. That's what DC figured out. They figured it out. That's how they're running the show now. But it's like, yeah, even Trump is starting to figure it out. And I love how they play this game. FBI Director Kash Patel, the FBI continues to dismantle fraud across the country. And they busted this fraudster, $17 million mortgage fraudster, part of a larger bust. Feds charge former Bay Area resident with $90 million in healthcare fraud. So, we're celebrating, we're busting all the fraud, and then Trump has pardoned more fraudsters than any other president. And it's not even close. The biggest fraudsters. Trump has literally pardoned the biggest fraudsters in the history of our country. Oh, speaking of the Bay Area, Maxine Waters is not done. She's not done. Maxine Waters eyes leadership bid as Capitol Hill gerontocracy fights to hold on. The California Democrat could soon become the oldest chair in the history of the Financial Services Committee. So she is the chair of the House Financial Services Committee, that is helping her husband get all rich with the bank industry. And she's still in there, and she's not even done. She's going to run again. But don't worry, guys. We're fighting a war in Iran. So that's good. By the way, no help from the administration on this. Sheriff Chad Bianco. County logs show 611,000 ballots cast, but 650,000 were certified. Well, those numbers don't add up. A 45,000 vote discrepancy in an election that could decide the balance of power in Congress. San Francisco Chronicle declares investigating it a conspiracy. I call it a duty. Republican candidate for governor spars with AG Bonta over local election conspiracy. Well, I'd say so when you've got 45,000 vote discrepancies in an election. So they're making Chad out to be the bad guy here, even though all the evidence is on his side for an investigation. California sheriff running for governor seizes 650,000 ballots from 2025 election. Republican Chad Bianco investigating Prop 50 vote despite officials denying claims of ballots being cast unlawfully. So just more votes than voters, and they say don't investigate. And then the guy that wants to investigate more votes than voters is the bad guy. The sheriff is the bad guy for wanting to investigate a clear crime. This is like the least of our problems now, if you can believe that. Isn't that fun? This is the least of our problems now in the Trump administration. Democrats block Save America Act amendment to bar transgender athletes in women's sports. You know, I don't even care about this anymore, quite frankly. And it's not even that it's not an issue, or it's not even that I'm saying it's not something I care about. I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, the men and women's sports is like a non-issue now. The Trump administration is so much worse than this that now it's just like, okay, whatever. It's like, hey, can I not get involved in another war in the Middle East, please? Fine. Have your stupid men and women's sports. Like, can you not drain more blood and treasure in the Middle East, please? Can you not make the world a less safe place? Can you not make our country a less safe place? Can you not ask for another $200 billion for foreign interest and special interest war, please? It's like, we thought our big uphill battle was getting men out of women's sports. We thought this was our big battle with the Trump administration, getting men out of women's sports, securing our elections, and going up against the deep state. No, now the deep state runs it. You're back in the Middle East, and you're like, men and women's sports, like, fine. Have your men and women's sports. Can we just get out of the Middle East, please? Please. And so I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at this strategically. Whose idea was it to put the transgender ban in the SAVE Act? This whole thing is rigged. Honestly, this whole thing is rigged. Why did they do that? Now they could have, because I'm trying to make sense of it. Remember, Trump came out and said, oh, we're okay with transgender surgery now for kids. He said that. When he made his first comment about the actual nuts and bolts of the SAVE Act, and he said the 5 points, one of the points was we're okay with trans children surgery now. Obviously, the big backlash, so he changed his opinion back. And, oh, we don't want trans kids. Okay. But so what of this SAVE Act? First of all, whose idea was it to put the transgender sports issue into an Election Integrity Act? What jackass did that? And why was that done? So you could look at it from either angle. You could say, well, maybe the Republicans said the only way we'll get this bill to pass is if we put the trans stuff in there. And so we're going to come out and we're going to say, hey, look, it's the trans stuff. You guys get your trans stuff. We get our election security stuff. And this is how we have to get them to vote for it. Otherwise, they'll never vote for the bill. So Democrats won't vote for election integrity without being able to chop up some kids. Well, okay. So not doing that now. So get rid of the kitty chop out. And now we want men out of women's sports. Now it's in the Save America Act. And now the Democrats aren't voting for it. Democrats block Save America Act amendment to bar transgender athletes in women's sports. What are we doing? Who is running this clown show? Was this all done intentionally? Did they sabotage the SAVE Act with the trans bullcrap intentionally? Was this done intentionally? And the Democrats figured, well, there's nothing to lose because all of these laws are already in the books. We break them anyway. So who cares about another act? We don't give a damn. We might as well try to get our kitty chop doctors a clearance. Oh, no kitty chop doctors? Okay, we're out. You won't even get your election integrity then. So now we can't even get election integrity because we don't want men in women's sports. We're in a clown world. We're going to have common sense. It's the common sense administration. No, it's not. It's the common clown administration. There's nothing new. It's all clown world. We can't even get airport security. So now we're going to have to use ICE agents. ICE officers deployed to some airports as TSA callouts worsen. Yeah, you're talking about hour-long waits now, multiple hour-long waits in some of these airports. And lines out the door, especially if you go in the morning. And the morning is when it's really bad. It seems like it cools off after the afternoon flights. So now you have to have ICE agents at airports because we don't have TSA, which the whole thing is a joke. So ICE gets funding, TSA doesn't. It's like we can get war funding, but we can't get security. I mean, it's just this whole government is a clown show. There's no reforming it at this point. And it looks like Trump is just burning it all down for the foreign and special interests to enrich his family. That's what it looks like now. By the way, there was a big kerfuffle in Arizona. Erica Kirk was there for an event, and there was a big protest outside. 4 protesters arrested after fight outside governor's mansion following announcement, Arkansas, following announcement from Governor Sarah Sanders and Erica Kirk. So there was a big brouhaha out there, and some people got arrested. Now, there were claims. Yeah. It's another one of those deals. Protest breaks out, and then depending on where it's at, one group may get in trouble, the other might not. But it looks like whoever was there as Erica's security started dropping some of the protesters, or got into it with them. So then you have the protesters screaming and shouting, "Oh my gosh, look at what they did. It's so bad." And then a brouhaha breaks out, and then the protesters get arrested, and Erica's security leaves. So that's nice. How about the Bongino phenomenon? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I want to take the break. I want to take the break a little early here, and I want to do a cutout. I don't want to bleed into the next hour off of the Bongino stuff, because the new Bongino thing is actually pretty crazy. And so what we're going to have is Bongino getting confronted at an event this weekend, and then I guess Bongino was back on his show. Or I don't know. He was on the show today, and he talked about it on his show. So this is the only time Bongino can get any recognition. This is the only time anybody watches Bongino is when he's crashing out on the air. So we're going to have the confrontation, and we are going to have the clip from the show today. And by the way, some people were reaching out about this, and obviously, I've been vocally active about the whole Bongino thing, but aside from the aspect of Bongino himself, the larger story is it just proves how they're all liars when it comes to the MAGA split. So they'll tell you there is no MAGA split, and then they'll go on their show and bitch and complain about the MAGA split that they claim doesn't exist.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, take your coffee break, guys. Take your Blackout Coffee break. It's the official coffee of the Owen Report. Blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. More than 30 flavors of the single-serve pods. Don't forget about their premium bags of coffee, light roast, medium roast, dark roast. Right now, they got all nine of their bags are in stock right now. And of course, the best instant coffee on the market. It's really not even close. Premium instant coffee from blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. By far the best. It's not even close. Get a couple boxes of these. Put them in your office. If you got an office full of coffee drinkers, they will really appreciate this. They won't have to, fiddle around with getting a whole pot when they just want one cup of coffee and nobody else is at the office. They can just get themselves one of these premium instant coffee packets, and it will satisfy. It is the best instant coffee on the market. It's all at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. And remember, if you haven't tried Blackout Coffee before, with coupon code Owen, 20% off your first order. You heard that right. 20% off your first order at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen with coupon code Owen. Folks, at least give that one a go. At least take advantage of 20% off at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Give their coffee a try. It's the official coffee of the Owen Report, and I know you'll love it.
No one can stop this. 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 No one can stop this.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
So you've got all the people on the Israeli payroll today. You've got all of the Netanyahu digital assets today calling for the arrest of Joe Kent. So we went from deep state arrests to arrest all the American patriots. Amazing what MAGA has become. So they want Joe Kent arrested, and they're claiming he is a leaker. You know, all the fake blonde bimbos, you know, all the fake Jewish Eastern European bimbos. They're all Eastern European. Do a DNA test. Guarantee it. You know, with the fake blonde hair and the cute smiles and the cleavage. They're all Eastern European. I dare them to take a DNA test. But they're all on the, they're all on the Israeli payroll. And they're all calling for Joe Kent to be arrested. And they say he leaked. What did he leak exactly? They don't know. They can't figure it out. They have no idea. They want Joe Kent arrested because he is a threat against Israel's lies. But you know what's amazing? Before we get into the Bongino stuff, I may get to some of the Joe Kent stuff. You know what's amazing? Well, aside from the complete reversal of what MAGA was supposed to be, what's amazing is Joe, they don't know, they can't say what he's leaked. And they're too afraid to address what he said on the Tucker Carlson show. They're too afraid to address it. And now they're conflating the two, which, quite frankly, I think is, I don't want to say it's an admission, but it's kind of it's definitely a fear that somebody's close to the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it's not the official narrative. And it's not the FBI. But maybe we'll get to that. But I just want you to know, when you see this, all these people calling for Joe Kent's arrest, try to find one that's not on the Israeli payroll. And I'm not saying that it's all exclusive here. But it's pretty clear what's going on. They see Joe Kent as a threat to Israel's lies and influence over American politics, so he has to be arrested. He has to be stopped. You know, you serve 11 tours, you sign your name on the dotted line for your country, you get used and abused for foreign interests, and then as soon as these people can destroy you, they will. So your commitment means nothing. You putting your life on the line means nothing. As soon as they realize that you won't represent what they want, they will easily kill you. They will easily put you in jail, whatever they want. It's a one-way relationship with these people. So, to Dan Bongino, who seems to be one of them. I don't know what Dan Bongino's deal is. I'm going to play both of these angles. There is an event in D.C., and Bongino gets confronted a couple times, actually, a couple different people. We'll start with the angle of Joseph P. Daniel. And if you're familiar with Joseph at all, he's out in D.C. quite a bit. He does a lot of confrontation videos. I've met him a couple times. He's always been very nice. He always prays over me whenever I see him. So he's always been nice to me, but he's always around D.C. He's doing a lot of confrontation videos. You may be familiar with his work. This is his angle confronting Bongino this weekend.
Dan, don't be a coward, Dan.
You're going to be trespassed from the property, okay? This might be, you might feel like you're in
God's
a
watching
area.
you, man. We reap what we sow. God's watching us. Go all out against the deep state. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of Satan, man. I'm telling you.
You're a big shit.
I'm ready.
Why don't you do it?
I'm ready to be in Congress.
Put your name.
I'm ready. I plan on it. I'm not afraid of Hillary. I'm not. God bless you, man. I'm here in love, Dan.
Seek the face. Now, let's be clear here. First of all, Dan just looks, something is just off. I mean, you can see something is off here. I don't know what it is, but you can see that just something is off with this man. And it could be as simple as he just didn't expect this. He didn't expect this, and he's having like a relapse. Maybe he was made fun of at a young age. I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe he was bullied or something at a young age, and then he becomes massively rich and famous and kind of beats all that. And now it's like a total reversal, and he's back to being the butt of all the jokes and people not liking him. But you can see in the facial expressions here, he's just, something ain't right. Something ain't right with Dan. He is not confidence. He's lost his swag. He has no aura. And now he's out here getting triggered and owned by Joseph Daniel, who's really one of the nicest guys. So that's one angle. But you may have heard that somebody else started piping in from behind. You'll actually see Ivan Raiklin in this video, but I do not believe this is Ivan's video. This is another gentleman's video. I forget his name. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. Well, I can't find the gentleman's name. I think it's Mark, who's actually shooting this, but you can see Ivan in the video. And so this was the second or third. It was about 3 people that confronted him. Here's the other video.
Got it.
You're a pedophile protector. A pedophile protector. Pedophile protector. I was a cop for 9 years. You're a pedophile protector, faggot. You're a pedophile protector. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
You know, guys, I've confronted a lot of people in politics. I have. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody respond worse than Dan Bongino. I don't know if I've ever seen a weaker, smaller response from a man as I have from now Dan Bongino. He seems like a weak, small man. And it makes sense from a guy who projects bravado, from a guy who projects toughness. And there's no doubt he has to have some level of it to be in Secret Service, to be a police officer. I have no doubt that somewhere within Dan is a very confident person somewhere, but not there. That's a small, weak man. And when you understand human psychology, you understand why. You know, if Dan Bongino is in Secret Service or a police officer and he knows he's doing a good job, then he's strong. He's confident because he knows he's doing a good job. In this moment, he knows he's wrong. In this moment, he knows he's not popular. He knows he's fallen off. He knows he's fallen out of grace with MAGA. He knows he's lost his audience. He knows he's lost his trust. And you can see it. He doesn't have confidence. He has no swag. And now he's lashing out at random people, calling them names. Of all my years, I have confronted pretty much every different type of politician or political entity, pretty much every single type. I've seen all the different types of responses. Probably the worst had to be Al Green trying to incite a mob against me. But even Al Green, I don't believe, well, maybe he called me a racist. But I don't think I've ever seen a politician curse and respond, or anybody in the political world curse and respond like Dan Bongino, like he has something to prove. It's like, dude, you had your chance. You had your chance to prove something. You didn't do it. And the one big claim that you got the January 6th pipe bomber, that's not looking so hot either. Looks like you got the wrong guy. Now, before I go to this clip of Bongino, imagine, and this is why the whole political conversation is so nonsensical right now, because We're back to like the years of the Biden administration where there was no sense in political discourse. It was complete nonsense. It was total clown world. Well, we're back. When you have people saying Trump has 100% of MAGA, you're in clown world. When you have people that say there is no MAGA divide, it's made up, you're in clown world. These are so, I mean, it's so ridiculous how easy it is to observe these things. So there you go. Those are all Trump supporters. Every single person that just confronted Dan Bongino in that video, they are all Trump supporters. They are all MAGA. Don't tell me there's no divide. You just saw one of 10 million different evidence points that there is a divide in MAGA. So, okay, the Bongino show is totally irrelevant, at least in comparison to where it was. And I'm not trying to have some measuring stick of relevancy here. But I'm saying from where Dan Bongino was in the political commentator world to where Dan Bongino is today, totally irrelevant. No impact, no influence. And the only time you ever hear from Dan Bongino anymore is when he's crashing out because he's sick of how unpopular he is. So that's what happened today. So this is Bongino crashing out today. The only time he has relevance is when he crashes out at how unpopular he is. And it's funny because it's the same, whatever's remaining of this Trump cult, it's the same people that share this stuff and then cheerlead for it like this is their big victory. Let's see how Dan Bongino handled this today after being protested. And again, folks, just from somebody who watched Bongino for years, he's a different guy now. It's just whatever magic was there, whatever confidence, whatever bravado used to be there with Bongino, it's all gone. I don't know what happened to it, but it's not there anymore.
Not like these tools. Here's Daddy a little while ago. Here again. You want to see the PSYOP in action? He claims to have some hidden knowledge, Mike Flynn Sr., about the Charlie Kirk crime scene. He was never at. Knows nothing about the investigation at all, but he's got hidden knowledge, folks. He's got hidden. He just doesn't tell you what it is.
Wait a second. Let's see then. Let's see, Dan. What is the so-called hidden knowledge that you're claiming here? Let's see.
It's about 25 seconds or so, but I want you to listen to this. And again, who's the fraud and the liar? Check this out.
I personally don't believe that it was a lone wolf, 22-year-old tranny who wrote a perfect, whatever it was, text message to his lover or whatever. I mean, it was clear that they dirtied up the crime scene for certain. There's no doubt about that.
For certain. You know that, Mike?
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, Dan. Are you dumber than a fifth grader? Like that TV show? Are you dumber than a fifth grader? Are you going to act like they didn't mess up the crime scene? There was a guy on the crime scene named George Zinn who intentionally tried to throw off police. Seemed to have knowledge that the event was going to happen. He stands up and claimed he did it. And now he's in jail for child pornography, Dan. So what is George Zinn doing there messing up the crime scene? That's just one point, Dan. Were you not aware of that? How about the fact that they paved over the actual crime scene mere hours after it happened? How about that one, Dan? Does that one count for anything? There's no hidden knowledge. That's public knowledge, Dan. I don't need General Mike Flynn to tell me that. My own two eyes tell me that. Anybody with an internet connection that can look at a video and look at news can look at how they messed up the crime scene. A guy on the crime scene distracting police, claiming he did it, and then they cement over the actual crime scene mere hours after the thing happens. They're even repairing windows and doing all kinds of repairs on an active crime scene, Dan. These are undeniable points, not hidden knowledge. These are things anybody could have seen, and anybody did see. And you know what? I'll even go one further. And this is your FBI, formerly. You guys messed up the crime scene because you only gave us a video of Tyler Robinson running off the roof. Why is that, Dan? Maybe there's a reason. You're not telling us. Maybe you've got some hidden knowledge. Why won't you tell us? Because that seems to be the pretty big point. And I see all this debate going on now about Tyler Robinson this and Tyler Robinson that. And quite frankly, I don't care. I don't want to hear about Tyler Robinson's movements after the shot. Show me Tyler Robinson's movements before and during the shot. That's what I want to see. And I know somebody's got that, but see, that's where you won't tell us. So I'd say that's messing with the crime scene too, Dan. And you're going to come out here like you're some genius. Like you just fooled all of America. Nobody was messing with the crime scene. Oh, just a guy that's there that's lying and said he did it to throw the cops off, who's now in jail for kitty dealers. Oh, just them cementing over the actual crime scene. Oh, just them ripping apart the stage right after it happens. All of this is public information, Dan. So there you go. Strike one.
Really?
Yeah, strike one, Dan.
You willing to say that under oath and provide any actual evidence?
I'm sure he would. Because there you go. I just laid out the evidence. You're the ones that are withholding evidence, and now you've quit, so you're just like one of us now. So no, I'm sure he would say all of that under oath.
I've gone easy on this guy for a while because I feel bad for him, what he's been through. No one defended him more than me. I've written books about what happened to this guy, and it's a damn shame.
Yeah, isn't that funny? You've written books about all the criminals in D.C., and then you didn't arrest a single one of them, did you, Dan?
But once the grift virus infects your mind, there's no saving you.
Well, wouldn't that make you the grifter then? You're the one that claims there's a deep state. You're the one that writes the books on the deep state. You're the one that writes the books on the deep state criminals. And then you get into the FBI to actually do something about it, and you did nothing, Dan. And then you go right back to your podcast. Doesn't that make you the grifter? Doesn't that make you the fraud?
And there's no saving him either. I love this show today. Thank you, Dan, for calling these people out. EK Harris, 68. I'm tired of these mother.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are of real American patriots that hold the line. I bet you are tired of real Americans that don't fall for your grift. I bet you are tired of real Americans that demand answers and demand results that make you look stupid. I bet you are, Dan. And you have no one to blame but yourself, by the way. You have no one to blame but yourself. You went and came into the FBI and left with nothing. Zero deep state arrests. All those books you wrote, nothing, Dan. And now you're mad at Americans that expect results that you didn't deliver on? I guess you can say just get used to that.
You want to play? Let's play. We can do a show like this every day.
That's the only show you can do. You can't do any other show now. That's literally the only show you can do is railing against in the MAGA divide. That's it, which you deny, by the way. So they deny there's a MAGA divide, and then the only show Dan Bongino can do is going into the MAGA divide and thrashing about.
Because I've got volumes of influence out there and an army of people who have receipts for days about all your bullshit.
Let's see it.
Now, Flynn and his group.
Let's see it. Let's see the receipts, because we got the receipts on you. You did a talk show for years. You were a top conservative podcaster for years, talking about the deep states, talking about the criminals. You wrote the books on it, and you got to the FBI and you did nothing. There's the ultimate receipts right there, Dan. This is why you're crashing out.
They host these events, and who pops up after betraying President Trump? Wow, look at that. Joe Kent does. So weird right away.
Oh, betraying. Trump is the one that said no more wars. He betrayed us. Trump is the one that said Doge dividend checks. He betrayed us. Trump is the one that said tariff dividend checks. He betrayed us. Trump is the one that said mass deportations. He betrayed us. You are the one that wrote books and did entire shows about deep state criminals and didn't arrest a single one. Who's betraying who?
It's almost like this was an op the whole time.
Oh.
Really strange. Flynn, Igor pops up in South Florida. Who's paying these people?
Now it's the Russia conspiracy.
Igor pops up with little man and ogre. Guy, keep in mind, guys who never done jack shit.
Oh. So there it is. Dan Bongino, you've never done anything. Who pays you? You betrayed Trump. Listen to where these guys are at, man. Listen to where they're at. Listen to how desperate they are. Listen to how pathetic they are. Listen to how sold out they are. And you know what the problem here is? They believe their own lies. They are the classical definition of pathological liars. They believe their own lies. They really believe that MAGA is stronger than ever. They really believe that all of this dissent and disruption of MAGA, they really think it's some sort of an operation. They really think it's bought and paid for. These people don't live in reality. And that's what's, you know, this is where it's like, okay, we dealt with the left that doesn't live in reality for all of these years. And it became, hey, let's just get common sense in there. At least we can live in reality. Well, now we're here with this right wing that doesn't live in reality either. They're not even interested in reality. Trump is telling you a CNN poll saying he has 100% approval rating as reality. You are a clown, sir. And the fact that no one in his administration is willing to step up and say, hey, Donald, you're embarrassing yourself. They're all clowns. The fact that Dan Bongino will sit here and say there's no divide in MAGA, and then the only time he can get anybody to watch his show is by thrashing about in the divide in MAGA. These aren't serious people. They're clowns. And then he's going to come out here and say, the only reason I'm unpopular, the only reason there's this divide is because it's an operation. Who's paying them? They don't live in reality. They aren't even close to reality. They're not even interested in reality. And, I try to look at this from a psychological perspective, and I'm saying, well, maybe something's going on with Bongino that I don't fully understand. But I also wonder, outside of just the Bongino thing, I also wonder maybe something happens when you're in politics. And this isn't for everybody, but maybe there's a high enough percentage that maybe something happens when you're in politics and you either reach a certain level of fame or fortune, and it's like everything else just turns off. And I'll never forget one of the things that Alex used to say. And I always wondered why he said this, because he would say it a lot. He would say it on air. He would say it off air when we would have private conversations. And I slowly understood it over the years. But I think I even understand it more now. And Alex used to talk about, he would say, I think that God keeps me desperate to keep me honest. And that's not to say Alex didn't, amass massive fame and fortune over the years, but obviously he would go through it. He would deal with all the stuff coming at him. Now he's got the lawsuits, everything. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, here's a group of political commentators who basically just got rich. They basically just got rich. They were vaulted to the top, 6-figure paychecks, Fox News, endorsed by the entire right-wing establishment, gets to have the big podcast, gets all of this stuff. It's like, do they reach a certain level of fame and fortune where everything else, it's just F off to everything else? Like, just forget you, forget the guy on the street, forget the guy that's, working for a living, forget the guy that's got dirt in his fingernails, forget the guy who's just trying to fix the country. It's like, does something happen? Does something happen? Does something happen when you make $1 million in politics and you just stop caring? Does something happen when maybe at one point you're a true believer and then you get offered the job to be the newsman? Here's your 7-figure salary. Your job is to read the news. And that's it. You're no longer speaking from your heart. You're no longer speaking from your gut. You're no longer going off of your own intuition, your own instincts, your own thoughts, whatever. You're just a newsman now. You're just paid to sit in that chair and to read off the teleprompter. You're paid to tell the story they want you to tell. That's it. That's it. And so you can either accept that and become Dan Bongino, or you can reject that and become Tucker Carlson. And guess who is the biggest name in podcasts today? Not Dan Bongino. It's Tucker Carlson. So I wonder if there's not something there where it's like, at one point, whatever connection Bongino had to his audience, whatever connection Bongino had, whether he was a true believer or he wanted to be a serious operator when we're talking about the deep state and draining the swamp, what happened from that Dan Bongino that we all watched 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, a couple years ago. And now here's this guy insulting his base, insulting his audience, living in denial, living in a world that doesn't even exist. Crashing out is the only way he can get relevancy now. And it's like, how do you not see this? We're all witnessing this. We're all seeing this happen in real time. It's very easy. Now, Dan, maybe he's got some personality issues. I don't know. Maybe he's got anger issues. That would be the least of our concerns. But it's like, why can't Dan Bongino just say, hey, guys, you know what? I got in there, and it was really bad. It was really bad, and I wish I could have done more, but I was suffering personally. My family was suffering without me, and I tried my best, and I'm sorry I let you down. Like, why can't you just say that, Dan? Why are you trying to live this lie that you're some sort of a hero? Why do you walk out there and deal with people that are confronting you and you have this weird aura, this weird look in your eyes like you've just seen a ghost and you don't know what to do? There's something there, and we're all seeing it. And I guess maybe that's what happens when you're Dan Bongino and you tell the world that your number one thing is defense of Israel. That's what he said. So maybe that's why. And then there's little Ben Shapiro hemorrhaging, losing 1,000 YouTube subscribers per week. By the way, now he's paying for advertisements on Tucker Carlson, literally. Oh, did anybody ever listen to this guy? This Israel loyalist, this traitor, never been more obvious. So if you're out there, go unsubscribe to Ben Shapiro and go subscribe to the Owen Report. All right? Thank you. They're protesting in Japan. Over 10,000 Japanese rally in Tokyo to protest against Prime Minister's dangerous policies. Remember? Told you that. Told you last week that was happening. Now you've got tens of thousands out in the streets. She sold her people out just like Trump did. Now they're protesting. Now, if this happens, my God, if this happens, Alexander brothers are said to seek Trump pardons for sex trafficking. You know those guys that were in the Epstein files? You know those guys that just got busted? People representing the three brothers have reached out to a lobbyist. Oh, gee, I wonder which lobby. And an influential Jewish group that have supported clemency for others. There's no signs the White House is considering a pardon. If Trump pardons these guys, it's over. As if it's not over already. It's beyond over. I think we've covered the Alexander brothers enough. The Israeli family, the Alexander brothers. I think we've covered them enough that I don't need to go into the detail about their connections and what they've done. And you've got Jewish groups lobbying for them to get a pardon. Some of the most monstrous men. Who would lobby? What type of a person would lobby for them to even get a pardon? How about that for a question? A decades-long sex trafficking conspiracy. A decades-long sex trafficking conspiracy, and Jewish groups are lobbying to get them a pardon. Somebody explain that to me. an emotional and graphic testimony trafficking women and girls for sex, minors, in some cases, the brothers, this is from the New York Times, Tal, Oren, and Alon, twins who are 38, used drugs to incapacitate and rape their victims, the prosecution said. And you have Jewish groups out here lobbying to get them a pardon? I mean, folks, come on. Wow. Hey, the ADL wants more money for Jews, too. Don't forget this. They need more money. After the recent attacks on synagogues, the ADL says that Jews need increased funding for security. So they've got Democrats and Republicans calling for a $1 billion security grant program. So the Jews need more of your money to protect themselves. Now, they just got, in the Trump administration, they want $1 billion now. They just got $94 million. DHS awards $94 million to Jewish organizations through security grant program. So that was last summer, $94 million. That wasn't enough. Now they need $1 billion in the Homeland Security grants. But in case you were wondering how this money is allocated, this is from Forward, a Jewish journalistic publication. Jewish groups get 94% of Homeland Security grants. So what, 1% of the population, 94% of Homeland Security grants. But don't say that. By the way, did you know the ADL had sponsors? There's an event over the weekend. The ADL apparently has sponsors. ADL thanks our 2026 Never Is Now sponsors. Adidas, that's funny. NBA, Pfizer, BlackRock. Chobani. I'm just looking at all of these different names. So there you go. I didn't know the ADL had sponsors. It's good. That's nice. But, of course, they're just victims in all of this. The West is turning on its Jews. Algorithms and ethnic hatred threaten the diaspora. Well, it really is too bad. I've been warning about this for months. And your biggest problem is Mark Levin. Your biggest problem is Ben Shapiro. Your biggest problem is Laura Loomer. Your biggest problem is Netanyahu. Your biggest problem is Ben Gvir. These are the types of people that claim to represent all Jews. And, of course, these are the most bloodlusting, psychotic people in the Jewish community that claim to represent all Jews. And then they give a bad name to Jews. And then they say that, oh, look, the world is turning on Jews. Well, that's because of people like Netanyahu and Shapiro and Levin that claim to represent all Jews, and they don't. But that's what they claim. And then they see, oh, gee, Ben Shapiro, he loves war. Oh, gee, Mark Levin, he loves war. Oh, gee, Netanyahu, he loves war. Oh, gee, Laura Loomer, she's a psychotic freak. So that's what you got. That's your problem there. You know what? Let's do this. I want to... Do I have that Joe Kent clip? I want to know. I want to see if I got that one. Here we go. This is the clip. So this is why they hate Joe Kent. Now, you have to wonder why they're so freaked out over the Charlie Kirk thing. Why are they so freaked out at you asking questions about the Charlie Kirk assassination? Why? Why are they so freaked out about Joe Kent talking about what sounds like a cover-up of the Charlie Kirk assassination? This is what he said on Tucker Carlson. This is why they're all freaking out. This is why they want him shut up. This is why they want him imprisoned. God protect Joe Kent. He is not suicidal, but this is why they're freaking out, folks. This is why they want Joe Kent to shut up.
So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that. It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah state authorities. Everything's going to trial. It's very, very sensitive. But there was still a lot for us to look into that I can't really get into, but there was still linkage.
By the way, aside from what he's actually talking about being extremely suspicious, the feds handing the case to the state, do you guys realize how that never happens? When do the feds ever secede authority back to the state? Ever? Does that ever happen? Why did they do that here?
For us to investigate that we needed to run down. And I'm not making any conclusions. I'm not saying
No, I don't think you are.
Because of this happened. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's unanswered questions. We know the pressure because of the text messages that have been made public that Charlie was under a lot of pressure from a lot of pro-Israel donors. And again, we know Charlie was advocating to President Trump against this war with Iran. And we knew at the end of the 12-day war, at the end of Midnight Hammer, that the Israelis were going to come back and ask us to go back to war again.
Right.
So we have a lot of data points between Butler, the assassination attempts against President Trump, the breaches of his security, what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Can I just ask you to pause on the Charlie Kirk because it upsets me
Me too.
hear what you're saying, to be reminded that he was murdered, but also to hear you confirm what was reported in the media several months ago, that your office had been blocked from investigating his murder. That does not make sense to me. I don't understand why you would ever turn down help in an investigation from a U.S. agency with a lot of experience in gathering intelligence on things. That's your job.
The FBI will say, and the DOJ will say, that because it's an ongoing case, it's a Utah state case, that back off, they've got it. They've got a smoking case. They've got the fingerprints on the gun, and they've got the kit.
But the FBI was involved in the case.
The FBI was involved. The FBI's
They got 5 different fingerprints on the gun, by the way.
Basically said that they're deferring to Utah because it's now a state
But
case.
they've established a precedent for federal investigation of this crime.
Yeah, and the National Counterterrorism Center's mandate is to investigate any foreign ties, to see if there's potentially any foreign ties. If we don't find any foreign ties, we back off. What I'm saying about getting into too much detail is there was more for us to investigate.
You believe there was reason to investigate foreign ties to Charlie Kirk's murder and were told by the FBI, DOJ?
FBI and DOJ, yeah.
No, you're not allowed to investigate that.
Stop. It's done. They basically cut off our access to be able to get into that information. And look, I didn't even say necessarily that I believe there's 100% foreign ties. There were data points that we needed to investigate. I mean, I think anybody who's even, looked at any kind of.
So you can imagine, though, and I think this is a fair conclusion to reach, when somebody is blocking you from looking into something, that's suspicious. Does that confirm any guilt? Of course not. But does that confirm suspicious activity? Yeah, I think that's fair. When you get shut down, when there's loose ends and threads that you need to investigate in one of the most important assassinations of the 21st century, and you're told, nope, shut it down, we don't want you to go down those avenues. No, I don't think that's controversial to say that is extremely suspicious.
Police investigation, you get 100 leads, you run them down, and 99 don't mean anything. We still had a lot more leads to run down that pertained to some kind of a foreign nexus that we were stopped from investigating. And,
that's a cover-up. It's
what you call a cover-up.
strikes me as inconceivable.
So this is why they hate Joe Kent. And, you know, let me play this last clip from Kent last week, and then I'll say the what's unsaid.
And then, you know, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way, and we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, "Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran," very loudly.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally
So let's just go ahead and put it out there. Let's just go ahead and state the obvious that everybody sees now. Nobody has to reach any conclusions. Let's just state the obvious. Charlie Kirk was against this war in Iran. This war in Iran represents things that are immeasurable as far as value is concerned. If you want to try to put it to a dollar amount, hundreds of billions of dollars just in government money changing hands, but then potentially trillions of dollars in the long run if they get this regime change war and Israel's interest in the Middle East is finally met. They're set to get trillions and trillions of dollars in wealth, in value out of this war in Iran and in any other control of the U.S. Congress and the United States military that Israel may influence for its interests, which is an undeniable reality of our current situation. And if there's one man that stands in the way of that, it might have been Charlie Kirk. And as soon as a 30-6 does not go through his neck and he dies, here comes the war with Iran, and then all of the interests that were cutting off funding from TPUSA that wanted this war, and all of the interests come out now, and they all claim Charlie wanted it, and they all claim this was for Charlie, and they all claim finish the job for Charlie, even though all of his public sentiments, messages, text, everything else leading up to this moment was against the war in Iran, and now he's dead, and they're claiming he said something else, and now he's out of the way of stopping it. These are all facts. I'm not reaching any conclusions. I'm telling you the facts. And now if you want to get a little more deeper, if you want to get a little more conspiratorial, let's just lay out more facts. Charlie meets Erica Kirk in Israel. That's a fact. The biggest donors to TPUSA are all pro-Israel. That's a fact. So what if the entire point of TPUSA was to keep the right wing, specifically the young right wing, on the Zionist agenda? What if the entire point of bringing Charlie Kirk to fame and fortune and leading TPUSA with their millions and millions of dollars in donations, what if the entire purpose, much like AIPAC, what if the entire purpose was to benefit Israel and keep young right-wing voters on the pro-Israel side? And what if Charlie threatened that entire investment? What if Charlie threatened that entire purpose? What would they do? Would they just let him go on? Would they just let him keep speaking his mind? Would they ask him to resign? Nobody's reaching any conclusions here. These are all just data points. And it's funny because when you want to investigate these data points, they shut you down. When you want to dig into these data points and wonder, maybe there's a there, they tell you to stop. They tell you to shut up. They call you names. And if you work in the counterintelligence, the counterterrorism department, they say, back off. We're giving this one to the state. Explain that to me. Now, what if it goes deeper? What if all of the individuals that are surrounding this deal, what if they're all on the take? What if they're all on the take and this outcome in the Middle East will affect their bottom line? Or maybe they're tied into this in some way, shape, or form by hook or by crook. And maybe they can't turn against it. Maybe they have to turn a blind eye because it might affect their bottom line. Oh, am I getting a little too conspiratorial? I'm sorry, because I was told that a 30-06 blew up Charlie's neck and didn't go through the skin. So I don't want to hear it from your conspiratorial. That's the biggest conspiracy theory of this whole game. The biggest conspiracy theory of the Charlie Kirk assassination is that a 30-06 didn't go through his neck. That's the biggest conspiracy theory. I don't care what other conclusion you reach. I don't care what other conspiracy theory that Candace Owens comes up with or Ian Carroll comes up with or any of the other independent journalists that are digging into this thing. I don't care about any of the conspiracy theories that they come up with because they will all fall short of the biggest conspiracy theory of all, that a 30-06 didn't go through Charlie's neck that day. The biggest lie ever told and the biggest cover-up of the actual crime scene, literally covering it in cement, literally a guy on the scene distracting police, and they don't even show you the video that they have of Tyler getting on the roof and taking the shot. They just conveniently don't show you that. And then they tell the one guy investigating it, stop. And now what happens? Now, all of the pro-Israel assets, all of the people that work with Netanyahu on the digital influence campaign are all out today calling for Joe Kent to be arrested. Do you get it yet? I don't even have to reach a conclusion for you. I think at this point it's ridiculously obvious. Absurdly obvious. And in fact, it's such an insult to your intelligence at this point to tell you not to wonder these things, to tell you not to ask these questions. It's such an insult to your intelligence that you should be offended. Not only should you be offended, you should start looking at those people and saying, hey, what's up with you? What's up with you? You didn't want Joe Kent to investigate that. What's up with you? You want to throw Joe Kent in prison. What's up with you attacking Joe Kent, 11-time tour veteran? What's up with you? Now you look suspicious. What's your involvement in this cover-up? What's your interests in keeping us from asking questions to get to the truth? Now we're looking at you. This is such a massive breaking point in the American political conversation that you really can't even put it into words. It goes beyond anything we ever dealt with from the left-right paradigm. And that's why so many people are sitting here and they just scoff at the left-right paradigm because it's such a joke now. Because it's such a joke. It's so irrelevant in the current discourse that we just don't even care. So now you're dealing with the biggest gaslighting campaign you've ever seen in your life, which is, here's the Israeli lobby. They spend all the money. Here's Congress, who only agrees on one thing, and that's pro-Israel interest. Here's your Congress, your media, everybody going to Israel once a month. Here's your weekly Jewish conferences where all they talk about is Israel's interest and censoring Americans, imprisoning Americans, punishing Americans for their free speech. And then here is the biggest assassination of the 21st century of a guy who publicly made statements about the bullying from Israel, about how he was going to leave the Israel cause. His organization was one of the most important pieces in the pro-Israel cause, and he gets his neck blown off, and we're told not to ask any questions about it. This is the biggest gaslighting. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And I just wonder what the final outcome, because we're not in politics as usual anymore. This isn't politics as usual. This isn't your standard level of political corruption. Folks, we are in a level of people are dying, man. People are getting killed for this. They have invested trillions of dollars into this outcome in the Middle East. They have invested trillions of dollars. They have invested decades of time. They have invested tens of thousands of lives. Everything is invested in whatever this final agenda for the Middle East is, with Israel in control and a new pipeline and a new strait, all to benefit Israel and greater Israel. This is their plan. Trillions invested, decades of time, and they're in the final stages right now. And now everybody is aware of it and saying no. Now everyone in America, which they've used, Israel has used America. They have lied to us. They have deceived us. They have used us to accomplish this greater Israel agenda. And now the entire country is aware of it, and they're saying, oh, no, we're your greatest ally. Oh, no, they're the bad guy over there, just like Iraq, just like Afghanistan, just like Libya, just like Syria, just like all the other ones. But it's not us. Oh, we're taking Lebanon too, but it's not us. And the whole world sees it. And so we're in this point of no return. And I think that the interests at play have made it clear that they will stop at nothing. And that's what makes this so dangerous. I don't think anything is off the table for these people. I think they'll nuke somebody. I think they'll bring in an AI government and arrest anybody that dissents. I think if they can, they'll just disappear you. They'll just kill you in public. I think they'll throw you in jail. I think all these things will happen. We might see all of these things happen, all to protect this plan for one tiny country in the Middle East that owns our government and our military now. And everybody sees it. It's never been more obvious. It's never been a bigger topic of discussion. It's every day. The evidence compiles. It's every day. The discussion continues. It's every day. You get called a name if you even look at it. And we're looking at Trump, and we're looking at the president, and he's hanging out with Mark Levin, and he's protecting Netanyahu, and he's on the phone with Laura Loomer, and we're saying, oh my God, we don't even have a president. Oh my God, the president's selling us out too. Oh my God, what do we have left? Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson, the people that get attacked the most, and that's why. It's never been more obvious. This phenomenon has never been more obvious. This phenomenon has never been more apparent. It's never been discussed. It's never been observed as it is today. And I'm just wondering, where do we go from here? Because it's very clear the American people are not going back to sleep. The American people aren't going to let this one go. And yet the foreign and special interests that have invested all this time and money into this final option, they're not going to let it go either. What are they going to do to us? Trump's not going to pull us out of this, folks. He's made it pretty clear, I think, at this point. He's working for them now. He's not working for us. You're not going to get deep state arrests. You're not going to get mass deportations. You're not going to get tax cuts. You're not going to get Make America Great Again. You're not going to get America First. You're not going to get any of this. You're going to get America sacrificed at the altar of Israel again and again and again and again until what? You think it'll end with Iran? Are you crazy? They'll go to Turkey next. You think it'll end with Turkey? They'll go to Saudi Arabia next. It will never end with these people. It will never end until we pull out. This death and destruction will never end until the United States of America says, enough, we are done. And that's what the people are saying loud and clear, louder than ever before. Loud when they voted for Obama, loud when they voted for Trump, and now louder than ever in Trump administration 2.0. And he's the biggest sellout of all of them. And we're all just witnessing it. We're all just sitting here witnessing it play out in front of our eyes. All right. Well, let's do this then. Let's go into a bonus time today. We'll take a short break. And we'll come back and do some bonus time for the super chats.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right. That's our bonus time music there. We go into a little overtime today to read your super chats. I don't know. A heavy show today. Heavy show. Kind of light on the news, but heavy show. Also, I decided, well, you know what? Maybe I'll make the announcement tomorrow. I'll make the announcement tomorrow. I'll have a bit of an announcement for tomorrow. Appreciate everybody here for the show today. Let's go ahead and do our super chats. Handyman, when Christians booed Ron Paul over the golden rule being used in foreign policy, Americans now deserve everything they get for having rejected Paul. I don't remember that. That's sad I don't remember that happening. Cornelius Westernmost, having guests like Professor Zhang, Mike Adams, Michael Yon, Matt Bracken for further breakdown only makes sense, especially since a lot of folks here aren't catching Jones and his guest as much or at all. Were they all on the Jones show? Is that what you're saying? Maybe we'll do more guest interviews. I keep talking about it, but I just, don't get me wrong, solo Owen rules, but we may have just entered the defining event of our lives, bigger than 9/11, bigger than COVID, and it's totally being glossed over by the media. Yeah, my instincts tug whether to just go into guests every day or keep doing my commentary. And I just keep going back to my basis, which I decided is just me. We'll see. Michael Malice is right. State needs to go away. Yeah, the government's our problem. Our government sold us out. Dust Vault, London attack on 4 ambulances had opposite effect. People just pissed because they didn't know they had their own ambulances. What is that? Yeah, they have them here too, don't you know? And if you say anything about it, you know. Being called antiseptic has been the honor of my life. Oh, boy. You're antiseptic for saying that. Isaiah, Owen, if you ever ran for office, what would be the first law you would create and the first law you would remove? I don't want to create any laws. But I guess I'll answer your question. I would ban dual citizenship, and I would remove every single law on drugs. That'll get them going. Caitlin Collins now tonguing Donnie's baguettes. Well, she wants to keep her job at CNN, so what do you expect? Workademics. Owen, we got it. Ice melts at 30 degrees. We get it. Ice melts at 30 degrees. I don't know what that's about. You making fun of me? Gringo Tomato, thanks for keeping it real, Owen. Hey, thanks. Good to have you here. DZ, I heard Israel is getting bombed by Iran. Are they happy with the results so far? Are we paying for their infrastructure that's getting destroyed? Well, I don't know. We probably will, though. We'll probably pay for that, too, because why wouldn't we? We're the big suckers in all of this. But I did cover that. After your chat, I covered that. Do it again. Trump never cared about America. He just ran for president because he got bored. He did whatever he took to climb to the top just to secure a legacy, which is ironic because he's going to end up destroying his legacy. But I think you're right. Boiling point, how do you attack Trump as much as the left has and don't understand that makes America vote for him? I think we were played since the escalator. Well, maybe. But as far as, no, I don't think that's the truth anymore. It used to be that the left attacking Trump helped him because, or the deep state attacking Trump helped them because they lost all credibility. We're the people with all the credibility here. We're the people with the credibility. We're the people with the proof of work. So it doesn't work now. So the whole, if you attack up Trump, it gets stronger. That's over with. That's done. That's done. All the people that defended Trump throughout those years, we're the ones with all the credibility. And that's why MAGA is destroyed. And that's why Trump approval is way down. Look, I'm telling you, folks. And again, I understand, most of my social circle, it's mostly people around my age or similar, mindset when it comes to politics. But folks, I'm telling you, almost everywhere I go, people are sick of Trump. Everywhere I go, people that supported Trump, voted for Trump, they're all sick of him. And I mean from like high levels of like angry to just like neutral levels of, yeah, I'm not too thrilled. So no, he's worse. He's worse than ever, and the approval ratings are worse than they tell you. He's the establishment now, man. He's working. He's cuddling with the establishment. Where are all the protesters in the country? Odd. Just some guy. Well, they arrest you in this country for protesting. Sometimes they kill you. So, Democrats might be scum, but at least they don't pretend not to be scum. They're honest about their scum. Corn Pop, your portion about marriage should be a YouTube short. It was perfect. When did I do that? We'll put that up. Can you put that up? I guess that was Friday. I'm always right. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just start going into non-political stuff. Because how much do you guys want to hear me talk about politics when it all sucks all day? I get sick of myself with it. He's going to carve us up real nice. Oh, he's carving us all right. Getting shanked over here. Alpha Jerk, I bet a chunk of that $200 billion goes to rebuilding Israel or their military. Oh, 100%. Of course it is. Of course it is. Vote Democrat this time. Maybe things change. From Turk Yurdu. Well, I don't think I could vote Democrat. The only reason I have to vote here is to get Ken Paxton in. Other than that, there's really no purpose for me to vote other than just to go exercise the right. It's not even a right, but you get the point. Wolf Krieger. What's the over-under on when they ask us to shell out trillions to rebuild Israel after this is all over? It would have to be done before Democrats take control of Congress. Well, they're pushing the gas on all of this. And I'm wondering if this head fake from Trump isn't like one last nod to the stock market. Like, hey, guys, pump it one more time because after this, it's over. Because after this, we're going all out war and everything is going to fall out. I wonder. I'm not saying I believe that's the case. I'm thinking about that. And I do think that they're either going to pull back to just let it cool off for a minute and then do the big move. And that's when you'll start to see 200 billion and then $1 trillion, whatever Israel wants, whatever they need, military, blood, treasure, they'll get it all. But yes, they have to do it all before the midterms. But I think they're kind of at a stalemate right now, and they need something to reshuffle the deck. So that could be going harder than ever, or that could be pulling back. But I feel like Trump head faking the stock market and then pumping it today, that might have been the one last nod to his buddies that are all getting rich on insider trading. And because clearly it was an insider trade, 100%, this was a giant insider trading. When 1.5 billion pumped into the market, Trump posted 5 minutes later, and then they got the big pump. It's total insider trading, folks. I've been saying it since day one of this administration. Most insider trading stock market I've ever seen. Now, granted, I can't claim that I'm the ultimate expert. I haven't been following it that long. But yeah, I would say it looks like to me they're trying to pump this market one more time before the fallout, before they do whatever it is they're going to do in the Middle East, because this whole thing is a failure. And they know it, and they only got a couple months left. Little Gothics, how long are you going to grow the hair? Starting to look like Jesus. Hey, don't do that. I'm going to end up, don't say that about me. I'm going to end up with a fade here. No plans on cutting it right now, I'll tell you that. It's 2026. Anything is possible. And anything. What do you mean by that? Bring back the Clown World line to the store in support of these Clown World times we're living in. You mentioned it daily, so I think it's time. It's overdue. I brought the new Clown World shirt. We got the new Clown World shirt at the website, owenschroyer.store. There's a new Clown World shirt there for you. How does the cornhole person with no arms wipe? You're asking the questions we don't want the answers to. OF founder L, Fishback W. Yeah, the OnlyFans founder died after a battle of cancer. One of the top APAC donors. Our babies would have superior genetics, by the way. Prove it. Prove it. Cat by Target story. Red and blue make purple, hence the purple ties. Is that why Trump was doing it? You know, purple is also the color of royalty. I thought maybe he looks at himself as a king now, but maybe he's a Democrat and a Republican. Maybe that's it. Greg Durst, he's wearing blue now, by the way. I haven't seen him in a red tie lately. A year ago today, Trump was signing meaningful executive orders. We were talking about shrinking government and cutting $1 trillion from the budget. Life comes at you fast. Yeah, was that all a fake, or did it all happen after that? I don't know. Don't second guess yourself. You're on point, 100% with you. Well, I appreciate that. It's just, you know, I get a redundancy factor, and I just get concerned how well that goes out over the airwaves is all. Because at some point, it's like you have to balance between the everyday audience, which is usually what I'm thinking about, this is a day-to-day show, a new episode every day. But then also I have to think about that there's new audience members or potentially new audience members every day. And so you kind of have to go through that every time. So, and then end up like today, it's just like half ranting, and I don't know. So I guess people like it, but I don't like it. That's the problem. I would rather do news, but I get caught up in how corrupt it all is and how betrayed we have been here. Gaslighting yourselves into believing that somehow Trump is being led blindly down this road of complete betrayal and treason. Refer to his campaign. Doing the opposite of everything you campaigned on and undermining and ridiculing your base and literally gaslighting them on Epstein is no accident. From Big Don. Pittsburgh bad. The Republicans control the House and Senate. How are Democrats blocking the Save America bill? This is Paul Ryan years all over again. F Trump. Well, they had to throw that men and women's sports thing. It's just a joke. Our whole government is just a joke. Please send me Alex's number so I can ask him to apologize to you, and you can reunite for the good of ending the war and saving the planet. If God wills it. Owen Jones Schroyer, this is not the algorithm. This is the timing of the super chats. Seems like Trump giving Iran 5 days to talk is an excuse to wait until next weekend for the ground invasion. Yeah, and I think he's pumping the markets one more time and doing a head fake. I agree. That's kind of how I see it. JM Dog Patriot. One of my favorites. Real talk. What's your thoughts on Kushner? He's such a slimy guy. Keep speaking the truth. The propaganda is at an all-time high. Do you think Netanyahu is still alive? You know, Kushner was obviously the deep state guy right out of the gates in 2016. Kushner was obviously the one that was going to be the sleeper for the foreign interests right out of the gates. And we all identified that. And that's why Kushner became so unpopular. And then Trump lied again and said, nope, Kushner and Ivanka, they're not going to be part of my second administration. Don't worry about that. So that brought a lot of people who were concerned about the Kushner-Ivanka aspect. That brought a lot of them back to the Trump table, but he lied about the whole thing. Kushner was running it from all along. Do I think Netanyahu is actually alive? You know, yeah, I think he's alive. I think that video that he had in front of the rubble is probably the proof positive. But the videos they were putting out were weird. So, you know, two things could be true. The videos could be AI, and he could still be alive. So I understand why people were weirded out by the videos. There was definitely some weird stuff. But I would say the conclusion is, since he went out and shot that video in front of the rubble, that yeah, he's alive. Shirley Maldo, ask not what you can do for your country. Ask what your country can do for you. It is time. What happened to that president? Candace Owens' claims are aging like a fine wine. Bongino's wife non-reaction is extremely damning. I don't know about that. Probably good for her. His name was Nate something. He was a J6er too. Yeah, he was a police officer. Yeah, I forgot his name. I apologize to him. Bongino chimping out today. It's the only way for him to get views. It's literally the only way. Tay, thanks for liking my ex-Florida sunset pick. Well, I was a little jealous, I have to admit. I'm missing it. I kind of feel like I need a Florida beach or something. But I had that nice view. I had my nice Austin, Texas view this weekend. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. It was a beautiful weekend, man. The weather is so great. We are really getting great weather right now in Austin. It's normally rainy and cloudy. and damp in March. And it has been beautiful here. Thank you, God. Thank you for filling the void. Truth for Charlie. Well, I don't think I'm filling that void. But if there's a void out there I can fill, I will try. Bongino is end goal MAGA cult. It's really crazy what's happening. I mean, he's like a totally different person. And I do wonder, politics gets into people's heads and another thing to point out, and I think it's worth this, again, from the psychological aspect. A lot of trauma, if you were unpopular as a kid or in high school or college, or you struggled socially, or maybe you got bullied or something, that does carry trauma. That there is deep trauma there. And that's not to say that it affects you every day. It's not even to say that it's something you have on your mind at all when you're 50 years old or 60, however old Bongino is. But it's always there. And I think what you kind of see now in moments like this in the political world is, I mean, this sounds superficial, but I think there's a reality to it. The people that were not popular, the people that were not cool, or maybe got bullied or really had a rough time of it socially growing up, I think that's when you kind of see this come out. It's like there's this like trauma-based like reversion where they feel like, oh, I'm back in high school, or I'm back in grade school when I was being bullied, or when I wasn't popular, when I wasn't cool. And I'm just wondering if that might be some of this aspect with Bongino. I'm just trying to figure out the behavior. That's all. I'm just trying to make sense of the behavior because it's so out of the reality of what Bongino was just 5 years ago. It's so out of the norm of who and what Bongino was just 2 years ago. Bravado, confidence, tough guy, smiling, happy, fun, in the moment. Now he looks like a shell of himself. Now he looks like a guy who just got a subatomic wedgie and stuffed into a locker. And he's crashing out every day. Is it a mental thing? Is he sick? Is he going through a disease again? He's got the vaccine. He's had cancer. Is it something with the family? Something is off. Something is off. With Dan, I don't think it's your normal political corruption or denial. No, I think there's something else that's really off with Dan. I really do. Boldly go. Trump is a traitor, as are all neocon Israel firsters. You said it. Bongino, soul sucked 100%. Didn't look good in that video. I'll say that. Cornelius Westernmost, incredible show, Owen. One of the best ever. Wow. Well, thank you. That's, you never know. You never know. You think you know, but you really don't. CL Truth. I love the enthusiasm you bring to all the doom and gloom news. That high energy of yours makes it comical, and laughter is all we have left. Do I need to be more funny? I don't know. It was heavy today. Today was a little heavy. I was ranting a lot. Yeah, we could lean into the sarcasm. Lean into the sarcasm a little bit more. Thank you for that. Roger Martinez, thank you for your service. Thank you, Roger. Looking good, Roger. A dude, what is this? Whistleblower connected to a purchase, I saw that. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I think I'm going to have to sign off here. Supposed to be off at 6. Yeah, you know what? I saw that story. I don't want to even go there, but I saw it. If it comes up again, maybe I'll go there. Praying for your safety and DMTs. Maybe we get a DMT collab soon. There's a little teaser for maybe an announcement tomorrow. Huge Monday W. Thank you. 36, and remember Ron Paul's golden rule remark from Tay Tay. Hard to sneak a guest into a neighbor garage. My neighbor's garage is always open. I'll go over there. That's what I should do. I should walk into his garage and start doing a show. They would think that's funny. Search for YouTube video, Professor Zhang, Real Identity from Salt Apostle. LA Patriot, show us Faraday. One of the best ones yet. Thank you. I appreciate that. There is a split between legit religious believers and the people in power who are justifying their war efforts in the name of XXX religion. It's truth versus lies. It's the enlightened versus manipulators. No longer left versus right. I agree. I actually agree with that. I think they're using theology and religion to push for something else, and they're hiding behind it. I think you're right. Chat wants to make me a first lady. Yeah, it'd be the first, all right. Corn Pop, earlier in the show about Trump's marriages. Oh, yes. Well, that's the most obvious hypocrite. Anthony Donovan, we will never vote ourselves out of this tyranny. A lot of people saying that, feeling that. The Victory Channel, the failures are redundant, not you. Great job. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Sometimes I wonder if it's hard to put up with me on a day like today with a lot of ranting and raving. Feels redundant. Appreciate the kind words. Glad you guys are here. Really appreciate you. Love you. Give us a follow on X. Owen Schroyer 1776 if you're not there. Give us a follow on Rumble. Rumble.com/Owen. And please help us build the YouTube. Unfollow Ben Shapiro on YouTube and follow the Owen Report on YouTube. Let's get bigger than Ben Shapiro. That'd be the big accomplishment. We're growing every day. Really appreciate that. About to close in on 6 months after this March. God bless you guys. Love you. Go enjoy life because life is still good. Still great. So is God. It's just our damn politicians and media that's corrupt. That's all. God bless. Godspeed.